I ain't with it. Fix your face and get your mind right. All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Alahym in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach today. And we're going to pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. So search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And they was testified me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Alahym only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accuses you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? So let's get this Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, man. And it says, and at that time Mikael shall stand up, the great prince which stand for the sons of your people. There shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation. To that same time, and at that time your people shall be delivered, everyone that will be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame, everlasting contempt. They that be wise shall shine as the brightest of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But you, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Revelation chapter 5, verse 1. And I saw on the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong Malachim proclaim with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And no man in Shamahim, knowing their wrath, neither under their wrath, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said unto me, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Yehudah, the root of Dawood, have prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. So we're going to get right on over here to Revelation 15. Y'all already know what's going on. Revelation chapter 15 and verse 5. And after that I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in Shamahim was open. And the 7 Malachim came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure white linen, and they're having their breasts girded with golden girdles. And one of the 4 beasts gave unto the 7 Malachim 7 golden vials, full of the wrath of Alahym, who live forever and ever. Revelation chapter 16 and 17. And the 7 Malachim poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of Alahym, of Shamahim, from the throne, saying, it is done. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty the earthquake, so great. And the great city was divided into 3 parts. The cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before Alahym, to give unto her to the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. So praise be to Alahym, right? So y'all know what we here for. You know what we finna talk about, and you know what we finna do. So what do I want here, man? Come on over here, man. Give me Isaiah chapter 48, man. Give me Isaiah chapter 48, man. Give me about verse 12 is sufficient. After that, give me Zechariah chapter 2, man. Isaiah chapter 48 and verse 10.
Behold,
live.
I have refined you, but not with silver. I have chosen you in the furnace of affliction. For my own sake will I do. How should my name be polluted, and I will not give my esteem unto another? Hearken unto me, O Jacob and Yasharal, my called. I the first, I'm also the last. My hand also have laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand have spanned the Shamahim.
Hold on. Get up, read that to verse 12 one more time. Matter of fact, go back to verse 10 one more time.
Behold, I have refined you.
He's done what?
Refined you.
And with what?
But not with silver.
But he told you where?
In the furnace of affliction.
Now see Paul, right? He told you there'd be a time of what? So if there's a time of trouble, what is that time of trouble? What would his purpose be? It would be to refine you through that furnace of affliction. Now, what did we read yesterday? We read Revelation 12 and 14. And what did it say that the beast would do? What that serpent would do? That it would go to make war with her and the remnant of her seed. We also read something in Revelation 12, since we've been dealing with this here. It said that those men overcame the serpent by what? Oh, y'all know. By the blood of the Lamb and the testimony which they held. But now I want to come to something else, right? Come to Revelation chapter 7, man. Tell me what verse 9 say, man.
After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude.
A great what?
Multitude.
A great what?
Multitude.
What about this multitude?
Which no man could number.
Which no man could what?
Number.
What about it?
Of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb.
Before the who?
Before the Lamb.
And say everybody out of every nation, kindred, and tongue on the earth was there. And what went down? Now, what he told you to do with your garments? Let them always be white. Why should they always be white? Because Job told you he put on righteousness as a what? A robe. Continue.
And palms in their hands.
And palms in their hand. Ain't that what he said he gave to those up under the altar on that fifth seal, who was slain for the word and the testimony which they held? Continue.
And cried with a loud voice,
what
saying,
they said?
Salvation to our Alahym.
Salvation to who?
Alahym.
Come on with it.
Which stood upon the throne and unto the Lamb.
Unto the who?
Unto the Lamb.
And what else?
All the Malachim stood round about the throne, and the elders and the four beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces and worshipped Alahym.
Go ahead.
Saying, Amen. Baruch in esteem, wisdom, thanksgiving, and honor, and power and might unto our Alahym forever and ever. Amen.
Go ahead.
One of the elders answered, saying unto me,
What the elder said?
What are these which are arrayed in white robes?
Who are these? What are these arrayed in white robes? Where they came from? Listen to him.
And I said unto him, Sir, you know.
He said, you know where they come from.
And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation.
They came out of great what?
Tribulation.
They came out of great what?
Tribulation.
What else?
And have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb.
See how that said them people are in them white robes? They had to go through the furnace of affliction to get to that point. It said, hold on, read it again for him.
And I said unto him, Sir, you know. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation and have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore are they before the throne of Alahym and serve him day and night in his temple.
They serve him where?
Day and night in his temple.
What else?
And he that sit on the throne shall dwell among them.
Paul, why do these men serve him day and night in his temple? Why I say that? There should be two elements, one out of the New Testament and one out of the law, which will corroborate the New Testament, that you should be able to ascertain why these men in these white robes serve him day and night in his temple. Yeah, but where you going to link that up with the New Testament? That's the question. You know, sir? You ain't flipped through it yet? Nah, he ain't flipped through it yet. Give me Revelation 20 and 4. I ain't got time. Not no disrespect. We got to roll.
And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua.
The souls of them that were beheaded for the what?
Witness of Yahushua.
For the what?
Witness of Yahushua.
For the what?
Witness of Yahushua.
Y'all see how we are always mentioning to y'all that this man gonna kill you because he gonna be saying he God, and it's gonna be people who gonna be witnessing that Yahushua is Alahym. You gonna get killed for that. See, a lot of people don't sit back and register in their mind, why are you getting killed for this witness? Because it's somebody else saying that they that person. You know what I'm talking about? See, there's an instance, we gonna read it, but it tell you in Jeremiah that all the blood of the saints and all the blood of Yasharal was shed in Babylon. See, you thinking it's talking about America because black people got killed. But let me clue you into something that's an uncomfortable truth for you. All your people who died over here, mass majority of them were sinners. So that's not who he talking about. I hate to inform you of that. And if you as a black person, if that offends you, you can unsubscribe. You know what I'm talking about? Because I mean what I say. I'm not missing no words with y'all. Mass majority of the people who died over here, they were sinners. That doesn't absolve the people who killed them for what they done and the atrocities and the barbaric conditions that they caused other human beings to dwell under. They got to answer for those sins. But boy, them wasn't saints and righteous men whose blood was getting spilled. I don't give a damn how you feel about it. You know what I'm saying? I done had many contentious conversations. What about Martin Luther King? Martin Luther King going to hell. He wasn't in line with that word. I don't care how you feel about it. Malcolm X going to hell, boy, he wasn't in line with that word. I don't care how you feel about it. That's not me castigating them men. I ain't never met them men. The men were dead long before I was even a gleam in my daddy's testicles. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody got to line up with the word. I don't care what they've done. I don't care how you regard them. They got to line up with that word, boy. Because you know what the Lord said about stuff like that? Get them Luke 16 and 13, man. Let the Lord tell it to you. Don't tell it to you.
No servant can serve two masters, for either he'll hate the one and love the other, or else he'll hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God, Alahym, and Mammon. And the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided him. And he said unto them, you are they which justify yourselves before men, but Alahym know your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men,
that which is highly esteemed of what? He said, you are those who do what?
Justify yourselves.
In your where?
In your
You
before men.
No, he say you they are those that justify yourself in your hearts. He say, but Alahym know your heart, right? So if you justify yourself, you declare yourself to be what? Righteous. What did we read when we were talking about those who think they holier than thou? They think they righteous. The whole time you sinning though. See, let me tell you something, right? Just because you don't eat pork and keep the Sabbath day, if you around here telling lies and you around here malicious and you around here got a heart full of lascivious, nigga, you not righteous. Matter of fact, what the book say, boy, if it's not a faith, guess what it is? It's sin. So you ain't righteous. See, nobody want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna want to hear that. What you mean we are righteous? I don't know nothing about no. I don't know what we is. I don't know all you niggas. I don't know what you niggas doing. You ain't righteous because you were brewed by blood. And if you think that, you a special type of stupid. Do we got to really go in the text and show you how evil and disobedient some people were, man? Man, come on, man. This man just delivered you from Egypt, man. And Moses was gone for just a hot second. And y'all say, nah, boy, we don't know what became of him, man. Go ahead and make this idol so we can come up here, get drunk and play. Doggone Baal Peor came around there. That doggone Moabite woman come around there. Y'all niggas eating coochie and worshiping idol God. That's what you was out there doing. See, it wasn't even the aspect that they were performing caniculous. It was why they were doing it. She said, oh, you got to do this here to worship Baal Peor. Well, shoot, that's all I got to do? Because all you want to do, you want to be down with Baal Peor. See, that's how it starts. See, that's how the niggas in Hollywood, that's how they end up with a man wee-wee in their butt. Because it wasn't the fact that you wanted a wee-wee in your butt. It was why you was willing to let the man do that to you. Because you were trying to get down with something else. See, when you ain't got no principles, you'll do anything. See, it's like this here, right? I mentioned it earlier, right? See, sometimes it ain't what you do. It's the mindset behind why you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Now, this a whole different thing, right? You got people who sell drugs. And they selling drugs because I want to survive. But that's what they telling themselves. But in reality, you just want some money. And yeah, you know, survival may have been a factor in the matter, but at the end of the day, you want some money. And you were willing to do X, Y, Z in order to obtain those resources. You know what I'm talking about? And that's just what it is. Ain't no cutting corners on that. You know, I don't know if y'all know this here, but I know women who were prostitutes. I ain't talking about the how dudes be saying chicks prostitute asking for $40 on Cash App. I'm talking about actually selling vagina to tricks. You know what I'm saying? Some of them smoke crack. Some of them didn't. I'm talking about real live prostitutes. And they could tell themselves that they were just doing it for the money. But you was also doing it for the underlying lust and desire you had. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of them having sex with dudes they ain't want to lay with. But they desire to get that money would allow them to compromise their self-respect. You know what I'm saying? I got a level of self-respect, but I want the money more. Which is why the book say, you know, the love of money is the root of all evil. He say, oh man of God, flee these things. Because he say many people have sought after it and have pierced themselves through with many sorrows. You know what I'm talking about? See, that pursuit of obtaining a level of financial security, if you will, allows individuals to be very sorrowful in the things that they endeavor to go do. Because what it's going to have to take you through. Go on and get it for him, man. What it is? 1 Timothy 6:10. That's what it is. You can read verse 9.
But they that will be rich fall into temptation.
They that be what?
Rich fall into temptation.
And what else?
And a snare.
And a what?
And a snare.
So it can end up being a trap. You know why it can end up being a trap? Because you know Proverbs 30 already told you what? Give me food convenient for me, lest I be full and I forget Yahuwah. You know what I'm talking about? And say, who is Yahuwah? I don't know who you is. Continue.
And many foolish and hurtful lusts.
And many foolish and what?
Hurtful lusts.
I done always told people this here, man, because I seen it firsthand. Money don't change nobody. But one thing, it just amplifies more than who you already are. But you also know what money allows you to do? it allows you to open up to avenues that you might not been able to be a partaker of because you didn't have it. Notice how he say you get caught up with many hurtful and foolish lusts. See, when you ain't got no money, there's a barrier. You're precluded from doing a lot of things. So in your mind, you believe that you don't have a lust and desire for that. But once you have the ability to actually go do it, then you'll find out, hey, you know what I'm saying? You have some desires that you didn't even know you had because you didn't have the ability to actually go do it. Which is why you see a lot of dudes who ain't got no money. When they get some money, they go to tricking. Because they wasn't no trick when they had no money because you ain't had no money. You know what I'm saying? Now you got it and you got the ability to access a certain level of female that you couldn't access before. And now you're ready to do this here. You know what I'm saying? You give somebody some money and they got a drug problem. Their drug problem gets amplified because now they have greater access to what it is that they desire. Read that again.
But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition.
Mm-hmm.
For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith.
They've done what?
Erred from the faith.
So guess what? When you got a love for money, it's going to cause you to remove yourself from the faith. I mean, he a sinner, so that nigga just stupid. You know what I'm saying? If that even real, actual real events, he's just an idiot. See, what that is that's a young boy who want to be seen as hard and tough, but no, you're not a gangster and ain't nobody scared of you. See, what it ends up in it is that's a dummy who will throw his whole life away to prove something to some niggas who ain't got nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? See, you don't never try to do, see, you can't have people around you who ain't got nothing to lose. See, I seen that in the penitentiary. You go up that road and you see a dude who got a life sentence. See, you got dudes who got a life sentence and they just do their time, and then you got dudes who got time and boy, they gonna wild out. That man ain't got nothing to lose. He's never coming home. You know what I'm saying? So he has nothing to lose. You do not deal with anybody. When you're dealing with sinners, you're dealing with somebody who ain't got nothing to lose. They don't even have salvation, so they can't lose it. But if you say you a saint and you moving towards the kingdom of Alahym, you got something to lose. Which is why the book say don't let no man take your crown, because you got something to lose. They ain't got nothing to lose. A man who has nothing to lose is a dangerous man because he doesn't care what he does. And he doesn't care how his actions affect other people. Never deal with somebody who ain't got nothing to lose. Absolutely not. Don't do it. There's no benefit that's going to come from you. Because you know what you're going to end up doing in your stupidity? You're going to try to feel a need to prove yourself to a nigga who ain't got nothing to lose. If I got $200+ million on the table, I'm not hanging with niggas who ain't got nothing to lose, bro. Because all they're going to try to do is convince and persuade you to toss away what you got. And guess what happens when you lose everything? None of them niggas going to be there. If it's 50 niggas, maybe 1 or 2 of them will be there because they was with you when you ain't had nothing, so they didn't give a damn. They didn't look at you like, oh, that's bro with the bread. I was with you before you had the bread, so I don't care nothing about that. But see, most dudes, when they round you and you got that level of bread, you taking care of everybody. So everybody is a yes man. They never going to tell you wrong. They going to never tell you that you stupid because they going to be worrying about getting cut off because you taking care of them. You know what I'm saying? See, a nigga who get money on his own, he don't give a damn. Hey, boy, you's a real damn fool for doing what you're doing, boy. Because I don't need your money. You're not taking care of me. So I'm going to tell you the truth, boy, you stupid. Keep on pulling out them pistols, boy, they got somewhere for you. You know what I'm talking about? But again, that could be a whole contrived storyline as forth as the purpose of taking this nigga through a shaming ritual just because they finna elevate his status. Because that's the type of games in the arena that he playing in. You know what I'm saying? He getting a lot of money from Nike. He getting a lot of money from Powerade. He getting a lot of money from the NBA. And when them people paying you that kind of money, they want total control over you. And you're going to have to dance when I say dance. You're going to have to sing when I say sing. And you're going to have to jump when I say jump. Because I'm going to need to have control over you. I can't never have you go off script. And it's not to go off. Of course, it is certain stuff to deal with the masses. But at the end of the day, I need you to do what I want you to do. I'm paying you too much money. When you pay at the end of the day, man, you pay the cost to be the boss. And when you paying the cost, man, you can dictate to people whatever you want to dictate to them because I'm paying you. And if you don't like it, don't take my money then. Which is why the book tell you don't sit down at a man's tables and eat his dainties, because it could be deceitful meat. So while you sitting there thinking about this here, like most of our people, you want to send your people to go off here and play in these people league, you telling them to sit at the king's table and partake of his meat. You understand what I'm telling you? And that's deceitful food you're going to be tasting from, because he's going to lose his soul and quite possibly his booty hole. And for what? This is something that you got to ask yourself, right? This came through my mind the other day. Yesterday, matter of fact. You will have to ask yourself this one question. Everything that Shalom, bro, everything you believe in life that you should do, your viewpoints and all of that, are they organic thoughts of yourself, or was it just the thoughts that was implanted into you in a capitalistic consumerism society that you believe that this is how life is supposed to be lived, and that you didn't actually have a desire for that on your own, but that was put in your mind because these people want you to spend your money and have you chasing a dream of a life that you'll never attain? You know what I'm talking about? Like, you have to ask yourself for real, like, the things that you think that you want to do in life, is that what you want to do, or was that implanted in your brain somewhere? Because most of the things that we want to do in this society, that got put in your brain. When I say put in your brain, it got to put in your people brain, and they put it in your brain. Because somebody's sitting in the room with some white suits on that like to get in the casket and tie ribbons around their penis and talk about all their sexual exploits, came up with this and gave it to society. And now you think this is what you want for your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, but case in point. Case in point. In this present day time, you got a bunch of niggas on the internet talking about get an LLC, do all this here and do all this here and do all this here. Where that came from? You think all of a sudden you got a bunch of people talking about generational wealth. You ain't asked yourself, nigga, where did that come from? Just out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere, all of a sudden, you got an influx and flooding of people talking about you ought to be an entrepreneur, knowing full well that the average person doesn't have the mental capacity or the mental dexterity to even do such a thing. That 0.1%, if that, of the population will ever generate what is called generational wealth. You got niggas so stupid that they say generational wealth is passing your family house down to your children. Nigga, that ain't no damn wealth, nigga. That's one home. That's not wealth. That's how you know that you're being manipulated. Somebody put that in your brain, and you know why? So you can buy courses and pay attention to people who stupid and spend your money on all this stuff, chasing a lifestyle that you will never attain. You know what I'm talking about? And they know this because they know the people is gullible, because 99.9% of the people that live in America are covetous. You're greedy and you're desirous to live a lifestyle that you see other people live because you're envious of what they do. You know what I'm talking about? So you have to ask yourself, where did that come from? Because that didn't come up on your own. You know, back in the 80s and 90s, if somebody wanted to be an entrepreneur, it's because either that was in them or they knew somebody in real life that was doing it and they was inspired by it, whether it was family or whatever the case may be. You got every nigga in to get your LLC, then go get you some business, file for some business loan. They setting you up to go to jail. You know what I'm talking about? They setting you up to go to jail. And they know they setting you up to go to jail. Man, look here, right? They'll tell everybody, start your own business, and they got you thinking that your whole life gonna be a life of leisure. And nigga, you gonna be working hard. You know what I'm talking about? Hard for a long time. Average nigga get in the jump, they don't know nothing about scaling. They don't know nothing about nothing or nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas just want to do something and say they a business owner. I done told you got funky hoes talking about she a CEO, but you a single person LLC. You ain't no damn CEO hoe. You don't own no corporation. You ain't got no board. If you the CEO, who the COO? Who the CFO? All this here to make yourself feel like you somebody. That's manipulation, man. Somebody came up with that to give you that. Man, Americans are the most gullible, dumbest people on the face of the planet. Because you'll go for anything. And you'll buy anything. And you'll chase after any trend. And the trend ain't got to be clothes. You'll chase after whatever they give you. No matter the race. You'll chase after no matter what they give you. All of them do it. Man, it's an Instagram page called Baller Busters. You know what they do? They just go around exposing niggas who be scamming all the time. And all of them scamming in the financial space. Because you know why? Because everybody want to be rich. But guess what? Everybody ain't gonna be rich. Nowhere near it, nowhere close to it. You ain't never gonna sniff it. And I know some people, you can't be killing people's dreams. Hey man, if you got in your heart that's what you want to do, hey man, you shouldn't even let that. Go ahead and do what you got to do. But in reality, nigga, 99.9% of people in the United States of America will never see any substantial wealth whatsoever. You know what I'm talking about? And truth be told, a mass majority of the people who serve you who will never see it. Not because you're not gonna work hard, but because boy, that junk gonna turn your heart from the Lord. He already know what's gonna happen. So before he let you get to this particular point where you get like here, I'm not gonna let you get that. Because he already know what's gonna happen. Look what he finna tell you to chase after. He said instead of chasing after wealth, he said chase after this.
But you, O men of Alahym,
Shalom, bro.
flee these things and follow after righteousness.
Follow after what?
Righteousness.
Follow after what?
Righteousness.
And what else?
Godliness.
God, he say godliness, which is faithfulness. What else?
Faith, love, patience, meekness.
So he say follow after the things that make up Yahuwah. You know why? Because he say seek the kingdom of Yahuwah and his righteousness. All that stuff will get added to you. Because everything you need, he gonna give you. The man already told I give you daily bread, I give you some, everything you need, because at the end of the day, you're only gonna be here for a day. Does that mean that you can't work to build in the head? No, we ain't talking about that. But boy, you gotta have enough sense to know you can have a desire, but understand that the will of God is greater than any desire you got, and you don't base your life off of those desires. Now, he say gonna tear them dreamers' dreams out the damn frame. Screw them dreamers, because just like this here, right? I just seen some white dude talking about what I was telling you yesterday. Well, they come with that digital currency, boy. It's over. You a slave for life at that point. It's over with. It is over with. You know what I'm talking about? You understand what a digital currency? Most of y'all who got an iPhone, right? You got an Apple Wallet, right? So just imagine that your bank account is on your phone and the government got 24/7 access to it at all times. They know what you're buying. They know what you're selling. They know who paid you. They know when you got paid, how much you got paid. See, when you get deal with cash and checks, you can cash a check, take the money right. They don't know what you got. You can have $10 million cash sitting in your house. The people, that's why they lock you up when they catch you with cash, because they want to know why you got all this bread. You know what I'm saying? Why you got all this here? Why you stashing that? Ride around and get pulled over $30,000, $40,000, see what the police gonna do. You can show them the bank receipt and all. They still might take your money and give you hell to get it back. Because they want to know why you got it. They don't give a damn about if you're doing illegal activities. They want to know why you got it. So if you got digital currency, guess what? They could just close your bank account. What you gonna do? You got to go to them to get the bread. They be like, nah, we ain't paying you no more. Cut his junk off. We don't fool this nigga. He's a terrorist. Yeah, that's the reality of it. That's why he told Jeremiah what he told him. He said, think great things for yourself. He said, think them not. Go ahead and get it for him. Jeremiah 45:5. You finished that over there?
They already doing that.
Well, you know, China's already been a totalitarian police state. You know what I'm talking about? See, living in America, you live in a quasi-totalitarian state. See, you think you're free, but you really live in a totalitarian state. Y'all not ready for a totalitarian state. All that there, man. And I get it, because you've been used to living a certain type of way your whole life. So to even hear or think about a life that would be drastically different from that, it couldn't click in the framework of reality in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that. But boy, I know I don't trust no sinners. And ain't nothing but sinners in power and government. So you got to already know. Men in power move according to their lust, not the benefit of the people. The book say the men, he that rule amongst men must be just. Ain't a just man in the United States government. Ain't there. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't a just man in no government under heaven. You know what I'm talking about? And ain't been one ever since the Lord left. Let that be known. That was the last time there was a just man in authority on the earth. Every government that's been ever created by man was evil as hell and not a righteous man in it. Ain't nothing righteous about what was implemented in America. Ain't nothing righteous about what was implemented in Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Iran, or none of that. All that stuff evil as hell. You talking about sinners. I don't give a damn what a man do. If he ain't a servant of Yahuwah and proclaiming the good news of the living Alahym of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Kadashness in the faith of Yahushua, that nigga evil as hell. I don't care what he do. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how you view him. If he ain't proclaiming the goodness of Yahuwah, who is he really? Come on with it. You good in 1 Timothy?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, give me this at Jeremiah 45.
And seek you great things for yourself.
Seek you great things for yourself. What he said?
Seek not.
He said, don't look for it.
For behold, I will bring evil upon all flesh.
He gonna bring evil on who?
All flesh.
Bring evil on who?
All flesh.
Now understand, this is right before they were getting ready to leave up out of Babylon. So he telling them, oh, you think it's something good for yourself? He said, don't look for it. I'm finna kill everybody. It's finna get ugly out here. And unfortunately for us, we're in that time frame and dispensation of time that it's finna be ugly out here for us. See, I've been told, because I've been to candidate realization, what 99.9% of the time, if you ain't achieved what you want to achieve in your life, you probably not gonna do it. Not because that you're incapable, it's because these people are through with this experiment. It ain't got nothing to do with you as an individual of your level of capability, determination, discipline, or drive. These people are done with this place. They done with it. And on top of that, we can see that the will of God is pushing the whole earth in a particular direction in order for his righteousness to be fulfilled. It's over with. I'm talking about as forth as the way that we're accustomed to living. Not that the world is over with, but the way that we've been living, oh, that's pretty much done. You know what I'm saying? And you can see it every single day of the things that I'm talking about, at least in this country. I can't speak for nowhere else. But you can see it's over with. You know what I'm talking about? Because they're trying to implement a different way of living than what most of us are accustomed to. Like at the end of the day, everybody got accustomed to you couldn't go physically to work. And you couldn't, after people was upset, but after a while, you just got accustomed to it. I got to put on the mat, and you just live your life like that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no pushback or this, that, there, and the third. You just got accustomed to it. You adapted. So they know they bring small, incremental things into society and culture. And then eventually the people complain, but you'll adapt and you'll live your life according to those standards. And they know it. How long you been hearing people complain about gas prices, but you still roll your behind around there and fill that tank up? They were complaining about the price of food, wasn't it? But you still go to them grocery stores and buy that food because they know eventually you're going to cry and then you just going to keep, you're going to adapt. You got people out here complaining how high rent is. They ain't dropped no prices. They say it's corrected, but at the end of the day, they know you're just going to go along to get along. They know what's going to happen. The people not going to buck. They know the people not going to buck. You know why you're not going to buck? Because you're too comfortable. See, people don't get moved to do certain things until their reality is shaken to the core. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, none of us in here were alive for the Great Depression, but you've read stories about it. You probably learned about it in school. That was a devastating time to be alive. And that wasn't just an American depression. That was a worldwide depression, and it was artificially engineered. Let me tell you something, right? If the stock market crashed, it's because somebody wanted it to crash. Now, of course, the stock market did crash in my lifetime. It crashed in 1987, but you didn't see it affect the country like it did in 1929. You know what I'm saying? See, I know some people, I don't want to hear this stuff. I know you don't want to hear it, but you'll be hearing it when you around here like this here, ready to eat, bite a nigga on his back. And not because it ain't no food out here, it's just because you can't get you none. Catch niggas climbing through your window. Go ahead, man. Well, that's good. What you was at before? Isaiah 48. Give me verse 11. Now, see, the reason why I don't mention that for us to have had no fear in our heart. You supposed to have the word. That junk ain't even supposed to shake you nor move you. It's just, hey, that's the reality of it. Because y'all know what the book say. I ain't never seen the righteous forsaken or begging for bread. Well, if you got to be around here begging for food, boy, we might have to, hey, boy, is you righteous? You got to be begging. Shalom, man. You got to sell your body. And I ain't talking about no women either. Because some of these dudes out here sell their body for a loaf of bread. Let me tell you something, man. Niggas wash niggas' drawers for a couple dollars in prison. So what you think somebody going to do out here on these streets? It's some people y'all done met who been in prison who you like, yeah, you all right, dude. That nigga wash niggas' drawers for Debbie snacks, nigga, and a pack of cigarettes. Boy, I'd be hungry, boy, and never smoke before I wash a nigga drawers, boy. And when I'm talking about washing nigga drawers by hand, you in the sink cleaning another nigga underwear for some money. Hell no.
All times in there.
It ain't never that hard. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't never that hard. Not for my self-respect and my dignity. I ain't going out like that, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Bump that. Oh, Crystal says we're currently seeing the trauma from the 401k losses. I know some people that lost over 50 racks. Oh, that's tough. That's real tough. Come on, man. Isaiah, man, them cookies from yesterday. Y'all know that cookies on the people floor? Nigga, I ain't eat no damn cookies. Isaiah 48:11.
For my own sake will I do. For how shall my name be polluted?
How shall my what?
Name be polluted.
And he won't give his what?
Esteem unto another.
Listen what he said, right? He said for his own sake, he gonna do this. Remember what he said in Ezekiel? I don't do this for you. I do this for my great name's sake, so his name won't be polluted. Tell him what polluted is in the Hebrew, man. Because guess what, right? Because of your sins, his name get polluted. His esteem got to go to somebody else.
That's kalal, to be profane, to defile, to pollute.
So you know what that is? That's the profane. That's the make common. Then the book tell you that the name of Yahuwah is blasphemed among Gentiles, amongst the Gentiles because of you. See, that's what it is to take his name in vain. That's how you profane his name. That's how I get polluted. See, when you right here talking about Yahuwah, see, it's another verse. Matter of fact, it's right at the top of this verse. Read verse 1, man. Verse 1 of the same chapter. That's where it's at. He finna tell you. Isaiah 48:1.
Hear you this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Yasharal, and are come forth out of the waters of Yehuda.
Which what?
Which are called by the name of Yasharal.
No, which what?
Come forth out of the waters of Yehuda.
No. You missing the next word. Which?
Oh, swear by the name of Yahuwah.
Swear by the name of who?
Yahuwah.
But not, and make mention
of the Alahym of Yasharal.
But not in what?
Truth nor in righteousness.
Look at this here, man. He said it ain't no faithfulness and it ain't no righteousness in you making mention of my name. So you better off not saying nothing. See, let me tell you something, man. Sometimes, Brad, it's better to not mention the word of Yahuwah if you know you're not going to do right than to mention the name of Yahuwah and you out here sideways. See, Brews don't care about that because they'll hit you with the same lines they mock Christians with. We all a work in progress. We all sinners, brother. We just strive. Get your goofy behind out of here, boy. You damning yourself. You're profaning this man's name, which means you're taking his name in vain. And what did he say that he would not do to a person that take his name in vain? They will not be guiltless. That man gonna come see you about that, because at the end of the day, you know what the book say? A good name is better than what? Better than riches, better than revenue. Boy, your name is the biggest thing you got. As a man, you supposed to know that. Well, you ain't never supposed to let your name be bad out here in these streets, man. Your name supposed to always be good, man. You walk around here, man. See, it's one thing if people throwing dirt on your name and they lying, but if they telling the truth, that's ugly. Come on, go with Ecclesiastes 7:1. Read it to him. Ecclesiastes 7:1. We supposed to know that.
A good name better than precious ointment.
A good name is better than what?
Precious ointment.
A good name better than what?
Precious ointment.
And what else?
In the day of death, in the day of one's birth.
Now you got to understand something. Of course, we don't live in that type of culture no more. But boy, precious ointment was a big deal back then. Remember, the disciples were pissed off about the ointment that Mary was using to anoint the Lord. They're like, "What you doing? We could have sold that." Well, you got to have a good name, boy. And when we out here, what did Paul write to Timothy, right? He say, everybody that named the name of a Mashiach, let him do what? Depart from iniquity. Because if you don't, you taking the man's name in vain. See, Brews don't care nothing about that. You feel like because you don't eat pork and keep Sabbath days, you good. But you lie. You got idols in your heart. You malicious. You an adulterer. You got the evil eye. You're blasphemous. Well, you taking that man's name in vain. Let me tell you something real, man. And this ain't no disrespect to nobody. But if you fit that, you know what I'm saying? That's between you and the Lord. You know how many Brews out here, man, who done did a lot of sour stuff to move sideways, man, and committed a whole lot of wickedness in his man's name that caused a lot of people to turn from the word. That man gonna part them people scout all the way down to the white meat sword up and part it again. Not just because of the deeds you did, but you got his name looking dirty because you did it in his name. Don't you know the book saying Jeremiah 48, I think about verse 10, man, he say, cursed be he that do the work of Yahuwah deceitfully. Well, you can't be out here doing the work of Yahuwah with deceit in your heart, man. See, and the deceit is not just a necessarily outright a lie. The deceit is that you claim the word, but you know you're not going to live it. Because at the end of the day, a hypocrite is a deceiver because you're a liar. Didn't he tell you to beware of the leaven of the scribes and Pharisees, which was what? Which is faithfulness, unfaithfulness, which means you a liar. Don't he tell you in Psalms 50, who are you to proclaim my covenant in your mouth, seeing you cast my words behind your back? See, for those of y'all who knew around here, if you was looking at us just to read through the book of Exodus because it's Passover, we don't do that. We done been through. We don't do that. We just keep on rolling what we dealing with. If you wait till Passover time to read through the book of Exodus, you got a problem. You know what I'm talking about? If you've been in the Word for an substantial amount of time, you know, we ain't got to do that. We ain't got to do that at all. You know why? Because we preach about the deliverance from bondage year round. I ain't got to wait till Exodus to come around and talk to you about it. Come on, man. Hell, we're talking about them plays. We done already been talking about it. Where you at, man? Oh, go back. Yeah, we good in Ecclesiastes. Come over here to verse 12, man, Isaiah 48. We talking about raggedy stinking, that stinking whole Babylon. That's who we talking about. Bald-headed hoe. Which they don't even realize. If we talking about Babylon, guess what we really talking about? How you left out of Egypt? Just on the back end. Come on with it, man.
Hearken unto me, O Jacob and Yasharal, my called, I the first, and I'm also the last.
Listen to what he said, right?
My hand also.
Hold on, Paul, because you know a lot of people say Yahushua say he the first and the last. He taken from the Father. Because you don't realize that Yahushua is Yahuwah, boy. How he gonna say he the first and the last on the back end, and then this talking about somebody else? But I get it though. Because you don't want to believe that you ain't never dealt with the Father. You don't want to believe that. But you ain't, and you haven't. Because he say he the first and the what?
And the last.
So that means he the author and what? That means he was slain from the foundation of the world. That's why he can say that he is and was and is to come. That's why he can say he the first and the last. Come on with it, man.
My hand also have laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand have spanned Shamahim.
I call
unto them, they stand up together.
Now I want y'all to pay attention. He say his right hand has spanned what?
Shamahim.
He say when he call up to them, they do what?
Stand up together. Don't
you realize when he telling you when he called to the stars, they stand up? Now go ahead and get them John 5:25 on general principle. Hey, what you change clothes for? Them Sharon got you dirty? So you want to come with an outfit, then put on nigga clothes out. That's how you look. I'm watching you. Why you got that pacifier? Boy, you 17 and a half years old. You don't even look like you using it. He's just holding it. That's what he do? Why you don't get it to him? You don't need to be pacified? Damn. She probably get it to him. Keep him quiet. I just ignore him. Yeah, you have to master that dealing with churn. The crying and hollering, man, you got to block that junk out. I'm talking about you could be sitting right there screaming and hollering. I don't hear none of that junk. That junk don't bother me. That junk don't stress me or nothing. You stressing yourself. You the one doing all that screaming. I don't know how your nigga screaming bothering me. And I'm gonna keep on doing just what I was doing, like that nigga wasn't even sitting there. You know what they do when they look at you too? They be like, damn, this nigga ain't even acknowledged me. So lame. Because you know what you're doing it for? You're doing it for attention. And I ain't giving you what you want. I ain't feeding this sickness. Go ahead.
Truly, truly, I say unto you, the hour is coming and now is.
Go ahead.
When the dead shall hear the voice of the son of Alahym.
When the dead shall do what?
Hear the voice of the son of Alahym.
And they gonna do what?
They that hear shall live.
They shall what?
Live.
They shall what?
Live.
Mm-hmm.
For as the Abba have life in himself, so has he given life to the Son to have life in himself.
That's right.
And I've given him all authority to execute judgment also.
Why?
Because he is the Son of Man.
That's right.
Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, and in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth. They that have done good unto the resurrection of life,
and they that have done bad
unto the resurrection of damnation.
Ain't that what it said in Daniel 12, what we started with? Now come on back to Isaiah 48, man. Read verse 13 one more time.
My hand also have laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand has spanned Shamahim. I call unto them, they stand up together.
Listen what this man finna say.
All you assemble yourselves. And
all you what?
Assemble yourselves.
All you what?
Assemble yourselves.
Why?
Which among them have declared these? Yahuwah have loved him.
He will do what?
his pleasure on Babylon.
He will do his pleasure on who?
Babylon.
And where his arm gonna be?
On the Chaldeans.
So you understand, if he say his arm gonna be on the cow, when you left up out of Babylon, did Yahuwah come through and destroy them people? He did not. So that means he telling you, well, he about to tell you anyway. Read verse 15.
I have spoken. Yea, I have called him. I have brought him. He shall make his way prosperous. Come you near unto me. Hear you this. I have not spoken in secret from the beginning.
What else?
From the time that it was there. I now. And now Yahuwah Alahym and his Ruach have sent me.
So he said, I didn't kept this secret from the beginning now. I done told you what time it is. So he telling you about a future time where Babylon is going to get crashed. Continue.
Thus saith Yahuwah, your Redeemer, the Kadash one of Yasharal. Yahuwah your Alahym.
He say he teach you to what?
To profit.
He teach you to gain. Which leads you by what?
The way you should go.
See, that's what people problem is. You don't want to follow him. He trying to tell you which way to go. Then Yahushua say he the way, the truth, and the life. If you go through the way, you'll find faithfulness or the faithfulness of Alahym's word, and you'll find everlasting life. But see, you don't want to follow him in the way that you ought to go because you're stupid. Go ahead.
Oh, that you would hearken to my commandments.
Oh, that you would what?
Hearken to my commandments.
And your shalom would have been a what?
As a river.
And your righteousness is what?
As the waves of the sea.
And your seed would have been what?
Also have been the sand.
And the offspring of your bowels like what?
The gravel thereof.
His name should have went
off nor destroyed from before
Now listen
me.
to what he say about Babylon.
Go you forth to Babylon.
Do what?
Go forth to Babylon.
Now how Isaiah gonna tell him to leave Babylon when they had to go to Babylon? Now hold on, didn't you hear Jeremiah tell you flee Babylon? Don't you read in Revelation that say flee Babylon? Now, when we go back to the book of Genesis with Sodom and Gomorrah, because that's how he was going to do Babylon, right? What he told Lot them to do.
Don't look back.
Now, Peter wrote something about Lot. He say Lot was up every day. He was vexed with what? He was vexed with the filthy conduct of these sinners. See, you supposed to be in this place and vexed with the filthy conduct of these sinners. And when it was time to slide, I'm gone. Now, see, he telling you, read it again, verse 20.
Go you forth to Babylon.
And do what?
Flee you from the Chaldeans.
Do what?
Flee you from the Chaldeans.
With a voice of what?
Singing, declare you.
Tell them what?
Utter it, even the end of the earth.
And say what?
Yahuwah have redeemed his servant Jacob.
Paul, tell them what redeemed is. Well, you didn't get redeemed up out of Babylon. Cyrus told you to leave. Matter of fact, the Babylonians weren't even ruling the Medes and Persian war. So that's not talking about that.
That's all to redeem.
To redeem. And how can somebody redeem? You would have had to been purchased. And if you recall, what does the Song of Moses say about being purchased? The people who you what? Get it for them. Exodus 15. You see how coming out of Babylon is going to be the same as coming out of Egypt. That's why the plagues are the same. That's why the vows are the same. Because he's going to do the same thing in a different location, under different circumstances. But it's the same God. And our people not ready for that. Because you looking for an exodus. You ain't getting no exodus this time. What you exodusing for? There's the covenant's already been made. You already know your God. There's no need for him to take you in the wilderness and teach you about it. You're supposed to already know him. He actually made a covenant with you so his word would be in your heart and your inward parts. And you mean to tell me this man got to take you in the wilderness and teach you again? Now you just said his spirit is ineffective. Because didn't he say his Ruach HaKodesh would bring to remembrance all things he said unto you? Didn't he say his Ruach HaKodesh would testify of the Son? Didn't he say wherever the Ruach is, everlasting life is? Didn't he say where the Ruach is, there's freedom? So what the hell he need to take you in the wilderness for to teach you about him again? You supposed to don't 1 John chapter 2 say you won't have no need for no man to teach you because the anointing that abide in you teach you all things? Didn't he tell you that nobody will need to teach you for they will all know me from the least to the greatest of them, and to know is yada that nobody experienced, and if you believe on him as the scripture have said, that means you would have experienced him. What is he taking you in the wilderness to teach you about? The testimony of Yahushua is in the earth. What do you need to teach you about him? At that point, of course you're going to believe him. Now you're looking at it. Don't let these brood lie to you. Oh, the Lord going to straighten all that out when he get here. Where can you find a single solitary verse where he said he going to straighten out what you niggas can't agree on? I'll wait for it. And that's an honest and sincere question. Where can you read any verse where he said, what y'all don't agree on, I'm going to straighten that out when I get here? Because what I can read is everybody who had the testimony of Yahushua and kept the instructions of God, they got killed for it. Then we just read about people getting beheaded for the witness of Yahushua. So get what that means. Every man who got the gospel of Yahushua HaMashiach, 99.9% of the time, you're going to die for that testimony. Because just like it said with Jeremiah, it's like a fire in my bones. I can't keep my mouth closed while I see an ugly bastard talking about he God. I'm going to say you a damn lie. And I'm going to bear witness of the living Alahym, because he ain't going to give his esteem to another. And I ain't going to let this bastard do it either. But if you ain't got the testimony of Yahushua, you're going to worship the beast and you're going to go to hell. You know what I'm talking about? And you can let these brews blow smoke up your behind, tell you it's sunshine, or whatever you want them to tell you. But I'm telling you, boy, you're going to go to hell. If you ain't got the gospel, boy, you're done. Because you're not going to be able to stand in that day. You're not going to be able to do it. Because when you see this man working miracles and he say he God, you following after him. While you're stupid behind waiting for an exodus, you're going to be having a covenant with the beast, bowing down at his image, singing praises to his name. That's what you're going to be doing, because you're waiting for an exodus that ain't coming. Because I know a lot about Ezekiel 26 taking us in the wilderness. You jackass. The wilderness is the valley of Jehoshaphat. We already know that. It's 2 words for judge. Tell them what them 2 words is. What them 2 words for judge? Shaphat, and what's the other one? When you go read I plead with you face to face, that plead translate to Shaphat. You know what Shaphat means? Condemn. That's what it means. See, Mishpat is the judge between right or wrong. Shaphat is to vindicate or to condemn. So when this man plead with you face to face, that's the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's the battle of Armageddon. The valley of decision. Gather everybody up. I'm killing you dead today. I'm killing you dead today. Don't it say in Revelation 17 that all the nations going, y'all around here looking to go in the wilderness, you're listening to unlearned men, they got you looking for something that ain't coming. What you going in the wilderness for? And this man sending 2 witnesses straight from Alahym to come bear witness unto you. What you going in the wilderness for? These men preaching for 3.5 years. What you going in the wilderness for? Come on, man. I know it don't make you feel good. And if you offended, guess what? You can unsubscribe. Ain't gonna make me no never mind. And don't think we just preaching something because it's controversial because it's 2023. You goofball nigga, we've been preaching it for 10 years. Just because you ain't never heard it don't mean we just started doing it because you're here today. I'm trying to tell these people lying to you, man. They don't know what they talking about. Well, you're going to be persecuted for the gospel, man. You better get yourself ready. You're not going to the winter. You're not bucking in. I know you wanted you a rapture like the Christians had. It ain't coming. You're going to have to stand. Be a man. Let your nuts hang, nigga. Stop being the pussy all your life. You're pussified in your soul, boy. You're scared to die for what you say you believe in. You're scared to stand for what you believe in. Well, you got to ride all the time, man. Not just when convenient. You know what I'm talking about? If this is what you own, boy, you got to be, you ain't registered in your mind to lay your life down for this yet. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. When I first came home, man, me and Fat Boy were talking about that. I say, well, shoot, nigga, we gonna die, so might as well be all in. And if I'm all in, that means I'm gonna die to sin and die to the world. If I know I'm gonna die for the word, I might as well just die all the way around the board. Because one thing for certain, you can't kill somebody who already dead. If you dead to sin, how is they killing you? I'm alive under God. God can't die. Come on, man, be real with yourself. You scared to sleep? Guess what? You was gonna die anyway. So whether they killed you or whether you died from natural causes, you were still gonna die. So you might as well die for the Lord. Because you were gonna die regardless. That's one thing you were gonna do. You was gonna die. That's gonna happen. Come on, man. Read verse 20 again. Where you
want the Exodus 15?
Oh yeah, Exodus 15. Give me verse 7, man. Tell me what to say.
And in the greatness of your excellency, you have overthrown them that rose up against you.
In the greatness of your what?
Excellency.
You did what?
Overthrown them that rose up against you.
Didn't Yahuwah overthrow Pharaoh then? Let me ask you a question. Did you overthrow him, Israel? No. What you did, you was shaking in your boots, scared. See all this tough guy talk, these brews be talking? Well, most of your forefathers was way more of a warrior than you ever was. And them boys was scared. When the Pharaoh then came up in them chariots coming, them boys was scared. What Moses had to tell him to do? Be still, baby. Watch Yahuwah work. And then what he told him? Get it for him and read it for him, man. I don't think they believe it. Exodus 14:1. I don't think they believe it. Nah, man, we got to ride like the Maccabees. You know, okay, ride like them then. Because I'm be honest with you, that junk sound good, but we read it yesterday, right? Psalms 83, right? The 7 heads and the 10 horns. How you niggas gonna fight all the nations under heaven in their military might? When he told you in Deuteronomy 7, he said, I didn't choose you because you were the most on the earth. He said you was the what? So you the least. How you gonna beat the whole world with no weapons and no God? Sit your stupid behind down somewhere, nigga. You sound dumb. You gonna get niggas killed, and you gonna get them killed again when they stand before the throne because they wasn't sealed before God. And you gonna have niggas looking at you like, nigga, you got me going to hell on some tough guy stuff. Nigga, you ain't tough. How you gonna go to war without the general? How you gonna go to war without the king? You can't go to war without the king, because that means you ain't fighting on behalf of the king. You're fighting on behalf of yourself. That's what you're doing. And you're lying to yourself, trying to justify it in your mind. But didn't he say you are those that justify yourselves in your hearts? He said, by Alahym, know your heart, though. Well, justify yourself before men. He said, by Alahym, know your heart, boy. And that which is greatly esteemed among men is despicable before Alahym. Don't you realize everybody that was just before Alahym was despised of men? In general, every man in this text who were held in high regard was despised amongst men. Daniel was despised amongst men. The people didn't like Daniel. That's why they got him in the lion den. The people didn't like Moses. We know they didn't like the Lord. They killed him. So what is we talking about? Didn't this man say, man, if everybody speak well of you, that's the same thing they did to the false prophets? Ain't that what the man said? Well, we dumb as a box of rocks. And when I say that, meaning we don't believe the word. Because you want to be the exception according to the lust of your own mind and not what the man said we're going to happen. Come on with it, man. Give me Exodus 14:1. Tell me what it say.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Yasharal, that they turn and encamp before Bahaharoth, between Migdol and the sea, over against Baal-Zephon, before y'all shall encamp by the sea.
Come on.
Pharaoh will say to the children of Yasharal,
what are you going to say?
They entangled in the land, the wilderness have shut them in.
I can kill him now.
And I will harden Pharaoh's heart that he should follow.
Notice he said that the wilderness have done what?
Shut them in.
That's the same way Yahushua going to get him over there and shut him in. Because see, they going to think they got an opportunity to pull a move. Go ahead, man.
That he should follow after them, and I'll be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts. That the Egyptians
He'll be honored upon who?
Pharaoh and upon all his hosts.
That the Egyptians might know what?
That I am Yahuwah.
On all them nations, when he pull up on them in the valley of Jehoshaphat and the multitudes in the valley of decision, won't they know he Yahuwah in that day? Won't the beast know he Yahuwah in that day? Won't the false prophet know he Yahuwah in that day? Do you see that your coming out of Babylon is going to be the same as your coming out of Egypt? Boy, it's not going down like these boys telling you, boy, you're going to have to ride this one out. The only difference between coming out of Egypt is you wasn't persecuted on your way out the door because you didn't know your God and you ain't have his word. This time, you know your God and you got his word and you're going to be persecuted before you go out the door. That's why I say it's going to be a time of tribulation like ain't never was since there was a nation. That's why I say that. And these boys want to buck that. And they're going to have a lot of people lose their soul behind it. Come on with it, man.
And they did so. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh of his servants was turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this? That we have let Yasharal go from serving us. And he made ready his chariot and took his people with him.
He took how many?
He took 600 chosen chariots.
And all the what?
Chariots of Egypt, and captains over every one of them.
And Yahuwah did what?
Hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
And he did what?
Pursued after the children of Yasharal.
Now, Paul, won't Yahuwah harden the heart of the beast to convince all kings of the earth to gather up against him to fight? It's the same thing. It's the same thing how we was looking at Jezebel. Jezebel is the similitude of Babylon. It's all the same word. And when you understand that the testimony of Yahushua is the Ruach of prophecy, and you look in the text, you can see how the elements of what happened before is going to happen again. And this is how you know that it is Yahuwah, and you can trust in his word even unto death. This is how we know this. This is how we can be firm and be willing to die, because we know these ain't no allegories. This ain't just no historical record. He's speaking through the word for our hearts to be prepared that we can endure to the end and receive a crown of life and worship before his throne and in his temple day and night. Because the same way we seen that is forth is in that Revelation 7, and they say those who were beheaded, that they would be priests of Alahym. That's where it come in with them Levites, because where the Levites was at. in the temple. Every man who died for the testimony of Yahushua in that day will be the same as a Levite. That's them Levites you see in Ezekiel 40 through 48, always with the prince. That's unfortunate. Mike just looking bewildered. What just happened? Come on, man.
And Yahuwah hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Yasharal.
Come on.
And the children of Yasharal went out with a high hand.
With a what?
The high hand.
And the Egyptians
pursued after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh.
and his horsemen
and his army.
and his overtook them.
By encamping them by the sea.
Beside Pharaoh's before Baal Zephon. Go ahead.
And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Yasharal lifted up their eyes.
And beheld.
The Egyptians marched after them.
And they were what?
Sore afraid.
Oh, no, they was ready to fight. They were ready to fight. That what it said?
Sore afraid.
Oh, they were ready to kill.
They were sore afraid.
What they said after that?
And the children of Yasharal cried out unto Yahuwah.
So what you niggas think you gonna be doing in that day? You think you finna get up? You think you that tough? You think you that tough? Stop lying, man.
This only 600 people.
This only 600 chariots. The boy was scared. What was 600,000 men out there? Didn't the book say, man, how can one turn 10,000 a flight except they Alahym sold them? Go ahead, man.
And they said unto Moses, because no graves in Egypt, have you taken us away to die in the wilderness?
They say, man, you brought us out here to die.
Wherefore have you dealt this with us to carry us forth out of Egypt?
Not this word.
That we did tell you in Egypt.
Saying what?
Leave us alone.
Do what?
Let us alone.
That we might do what?
Serve the Egyptians.
You don't think that's going to be different in that day when the people see all that, man? Man, you should, man, go ahead on with that God talk, boy. I don't want to die. Go ahead.
For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness.
And Moses said what to the people?
Fear you not.
He said what?
Fear you not.
He said what?
Fear you not.
You know why? Because Alahym ain't gave us the Ruach of fear. See, the Ruach HaKadosh of Yahuwah ain't got no fear in it. Then he say perfect love do what? Because fear got what? So he that fear ain't what? You ain't perfect in love. That means you don't believe the word. If fear come in your heart, come on with it, man.
Fear you not, stand still and see the salvation of Yahuwah.
And see what?
Salvation of Yahuwah.
See the salvation of man.
Of Yahuwah.
See salvation of Moses.
Of Yahuwah.
Go ahead.
Which he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today.
You want what?
See them again no more forever.
Because who gonna fight for you?
Yahuwah shall fight for you.
Who gonna fight for you?
Yahuwah shall fight for you.
The armies of men gonna fight for you.
Yahuwah shall fight for you.
All the tough gangsters gonna fight for you.
Yahuwah shall fight for you. You shall hold your shalom.
You gonna stand still. That's what you gonna do. You think it's different in Babylon? Yahuwah gonna fight for you. See, you don't trust in your God. You don't believe he gonna fight for you. That's why you want to fight so bad. You don't think he gonna do it. I know he gonna do it. You know how I know he gonna do it? Because he said he would. That man say he gonna avenge us speedily. I ain't worried about that. Say this man coming in righteousness to judge and to make war and to smite the nations with the sword of his mouth and to rule them with a rod of iron and to break them into pieces like a potter's vessel. I ain't worried about that. See, we being so stuck about arguing and fighting with doctrine and quoting verses. Man, you better understand something, man. This man meant what he said what he meant. And boy, he gonna drop his foot deep off in these people, wreck them, and then pull his sword out and cut their head off. He ain't playing with these people, man. You know what I'm talking about? So I don't care nothing about these people. I'm not worried about these people. Come on back, man. What you hold?
Exodus 15 and 7.
Come on to Exodus 15 and 7. See, I know there's a lot of people going to unsubscribe all this one here. I don't give a damn. Guess what? We don't get paid. You know what I'm talking about? They ain't giving, we ain't no YouTube partner. We don't get paid for shorts, reels, videos, ads, nothing.
And in the greatness of your excellency, you have overthrown them that rose against you.
So notice that he said rose up against who?
Against them that rose up against you.
Rose up against Yahuwah, right? Mm-hmm. Now, why would that be important? Because he said, if you did it unto these, the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. So when they rose up against Yasharal, they didn't rise up against Yasharal, they rose up against him. So when they stand up against him in that day, they standing up against him, so he got to overthrow him in his power. That's why he said he won't meet him as a man. Go ahead.
You sent forth your wrath, consumed them as stubble.
He said consume them in what?
As stubble.
What else?
And with the blast of your nostrils, the waters were gathered together. The flood stood upright as a heap. The depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue.
The enemy said what?
I will pursue.
He'll do what?
I'll pursue.
Ain't the beast and all them going to be pursuing you? Go ahead.
I will overtake. I will divide the spoil. My lust shall be satisfied upon them. I will draw my sword. My hand shall destroy them.
He said he'll draw his what?
Sword.
What Esau lived by. See, they look at it living by the sword and pulling out, but living by the sword is actually taking life. So you live by blood because you shed blood. That's why he say he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. What you think the beast's going to be killing with? So guess what he get killed with? The sword of the Lord's mouth. Go ahead.
You did blow with the wind, with your wind. The sea covered them. They sank as lead in the mighty waters.
That's right.
Who is like unto you, O Yahuwah, among the gods?
Who's like unto who?
Yahuwah.
Nobody.
Who is like you, esteemed in Kadash?
That's right.
Fearful in praises,
That's
doing
right.
wonders.
Doing wonders.
You stretch out your right hand, the earth swallowed them.
That's right.
You and your mercy have led forth the people.
You and your what?
Your mercy have led forth the people.
Praise God.
You have redeemed. You have guided in your strength.
He did what?
You have guided them in your...
he redeemed. Go ahead.
You have guided in your strength unto your Kadash habitation. The people shall hear, be afraid. Sorrow shall take the inhabitants of Palestine. Then the
now listen, right? He said Palestinian wasn't your issue at that time. Y'all know who Palestinian is, right? You know what group of people that is? Philistines. You didn't have no issues with no Philistines in Egypt. Go ahead.
Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed.
Now, how Edom fit in this? You know what a duke is, right? Tell them what a duke is. That's a prince or a ruler. How the dukes of Edom fit in you coming out of Egypt? What they amazed for?
This one is a tame, is docile, a friend, an intimate, a familiar friend, a bullock,
a familiar
chieftain,
friend,
a captain, a duke,
a leader,
a governor,
a ruler. And who gonna be ruling that day? Esau. And he say Edom will be amazed because the beast gonna be amazed because he gonna smite him with our hand. Now you gotta ask yourself, you coming out of Egypt, right? Why is he talking about the Philistines and Edom folk? They wasn't nowhere around. Go ahead.
Shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab, trembling, shall take hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away.
All the inhabitants of who?
Canaan.
Now, where is he coming back to take back Jerusalem? And he coming with fire and a sword to plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahuwah shall be many. Because you know why? All the inhabitants of Canaan, who dwelling in Canaan? He said, every nation under heaven is going to gather up in the valley of Jehoshaphat, and he's going to kill them dead right there. The man told you the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end. Why is he talking about all these people? None of those people were there when you came out of Egypt. That's not pertinent to this conversation. Continue. Unless he's trying to tell you something else and we be missing it.
Fear and dread shall fall upon them. By the greatness of your arm, they shall be as still as your throne.
He said by the greatness of his what?
Arm.
Ain't that what we read earlier? He said he'll come through and smite these people with his arm. His arm will be upon the Chaldeans. You know what that arm, that's the right hand, that's the yard, right? That's the sign of power. Might. Continue.
They shall be still as stone.
They shall be what?
Still as stone.
What else?
Till your people pass over.
Till your what?
People pass over.
Whom you've what?
Whom you have purchased.
Whom you what?
Purchased.
That means you redeemed. Tell them what purchase is.
No, to get, acquired, to buy, to possess.
To buy. He said you were not redeemed with corruptible things like silver and gold from the vain conduct of your fathers, but by the blood of the Lamb who was without spot and blemish. That's what purchased you.
You shall bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance. The place, O Yahuwah, you have made for you to dwell. The sanctuary, O Yahuwah, your hands have established.
That's right.
Yahuwah shall reign forever and ever.
He shall reign forever and ever. That's what's happening on the back end coming out of Babylon, is it not? Come on back to Isaiah 48, man. Read verse 20 one more time. He's mentioned something about Psalm 78. Give me verse 47. Oh, I think Psalm 78 talking about us coming out of the wilderness. Just read 54. So I ain't trying to be redundant.
And he brought them to the border of his sanctuary. This mountain his right hand had purchased. He cast out the heathen also before them and divided them in inheritance by line and made the tribes of Yasharal to dwell in their tents. Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High.
Stop,
Alahym.
right? He said this is the inheritance which he purchased. Kingdom of Shamahin was purchased with blood. I would have been bought with. Come on back to Isaiah 48 and 20. I ain't that time. Isaiah 48 and 20.
Go you forth of Babylon, flee you from the Chaldeans. With the voice of singing declare you. Tell this, utter to the end of the earth. Say you, Yahuwah, have redeemed his servant Jacob. And they thirsted not. He led them through the deserts. He caused the waters to flow out of the rock for them. He clave the rock also, and the waters gushed out.
There's no shalom.
Saith Yahuwah unto the wicked.
Ain't no peace for them wicked people. Don't it say that you'll be singing on your way out of Babylon? If you didn't know, you finna know right now. Go on to Revelation 18 and 20. Read it to me. Then we go to Zechariah 2, man. That nigga finna break your phone, cuz.
Rejoice over her, Shamahin.
Do what?
Rejoice over her.
Why?
Kadash apostles and prophets, for Alahym have avenged you on her.
He say Kadash what?
Apostles and
Because
prophets
Alahym have done what?
avenged you on her.
Why?
And the mighty Malachim took up a stone like a great millstone.
What he did with it?
And cast into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon
He
be
said
thrown
thus
down.
with violence?
Shall that great city Babylon be thrown down?
Why?
It shall be found no more at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the voice of harpers and musicians.
Voice of who?
Of harpers and musicians.
And what else?
Pipers and trumpeters.
And what else?
Shall be heard no more at all in you.
Ain't no singing in that hoe.
And no craftsman of whatsoever craft
Ain't
shall be
nobody
found
doing
any
no
more
work
in
in
you.
there.
And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in you.
Ain't nothing happening in there.
And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in you. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in you. For your merchants were the great men of the earth. For by your sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth.
It said found in her was what?
The blood of prophets.
And what else?
Saints and of all that were slain upon the earth.
So not only is that, but anybody who would kill, she responsible for all their blood. But notice we just focusing on the saints and the prophets. But notice that they say you were victim of their sorceries. Now everybody likes to, most brews like to mention that passage in 1 Samuel 15, right? You know what's in 1 Samuel 15? What is it? Verse 26. Read it for me.
And Samuel said unto Saul, I will not turn with you, for you have rejected the word of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah have rejected you from being king over Yasharal. And as Samuel turned about to go away, he laid hold upon the skirt of his mantle and it rent.
Give me 24 then. Go ahead, verse 20. But shoot, make it 19, man.
Wherefore did you not obey the voice of Yahuwah, but did fly upon the spoil, and did evil in the sight of Yahuwah? And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of Yahuwah, and have gone by the way which Yahuwah sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, sacrifice unto Yahuwah, your God in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Have Yahuwah great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices?
Go ahead.
As in obeying the voice of Yahuwah? Behold, to obey better than sacrifice.
To obey is what?
Better than sacrifice.
What up?
And to hearken than the fat of the rams.
Go ahead.
For rebellion, the sin of witchcraft.
Well, tell them what rebellion and witchcraft is.
Rebellion is Marie, that's rebellion.
So you know to rebel, you have to willfully do that.
The witchcraft is kasim, divination, that's witchcraft.
What is divination? What is divination? What is that? Y'all know what that is? You know how that's done? Okay. He said the sound quality went down. Probably because his phone probably. How this shit you? It ain't. Let's look at what divination, however you want to pronounce it. Let's see what it is. Let's see what Mr. Charlie said it is. So this is the practice of seeking knowledge of the future or the unknown by supernatural means. So this is somebody who's a fortune teller, claims to have the power. These are tarot card readers. You know what I'm talking about? These are palm readers. These are people who seek to do these things by means other than God. Ain't that what Pharaoh was doing when he was bringing up all his people? Ain't that what he was doing? So that's what that is, right? So he say sin, he say rebelling, as if you trying to figure out a word of Yahuwah on your own. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Pharaoh got his false prophets working miracles with it. You know what I'm talking about? And why he persecuting the people? It's all the same. Most definitely. Come on. Sin, rebellion is in sin of witchcraft and what else?
Stubborn, iniquity, and idolatry.
Now tell them what stubborn is, and then iniquity and idolatry in this passage.
Stubbornness is pasar, to press, to push, to be insolent, to display pushing. That's arrogance.
You know what insolent means? You're hard-headed, and then you're proud with it. You're a proud, hard-headed bastard.
Iniquity is avenge.
Oh, he was talking about on he was talking about on Clubhouse, bro. What is iniquity?
Avenge, trouble, wickedness, sorrow, idolatry.
And what is idolatry?
Teraphim, idolatry, idols, images.
So notice this is right. Stubbornness is as trouble and having an idol in your own heart. See, when you proud, you done made a God in your own heart. You know what I'm saying? Which is what he tell you in Ezekiel 14. Stop making idols in your heart. Most people who in the word got idols in their heart. You put other things before Yahuwah. Now, Yahushua already told you, if you're going to come to me, you're going to have to hate father, mother, wives, children, and your own life also, or you can't be my disciple. Because your law say that I'm Yahuwah, your Alahym, have no other God before me. So you think, them Christians on Easter, boy, if you got anything in your heart that come before Yahuwah, you might as well go to Easter service. Might as well be there for watch service on New Year, come through for Christmas, and be there every Sunday. Because how you any different? You not. And now you taking the man's name in vain. But one thing about an idol in your heart, you know what ends up happening? It shows. Because you can't hide what you worship. Let me tell you something, man. There is not a single solitary sin that the heart can hide because the actions will reveal it. You know what I'm saying? You can't hide sins in your heart for too long because your works are going to show them. That's why he say you declare that you profess to know Alahym, but in works you deny him. You can't hide it. That's why he tests and try you to prove to see what's in your heart. That's why he said that in Exodus 16. He said, I did it to prove and see if they keep my instructions or not. See, everybody think, God, no, you don't know nobody's heart. That's the biggest bunch of monkey crap that anybody can sell you. You can know every man's heart. The book say the word of Alahym is sharper than any two-edged sword, dividing asunder to the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. But even if you didn't know what was in a man's heart, if you brought him the word, all you got to do is pay attention to people's actions. You'll see what's in their heart. That's why, you know, when you run across a man, he tell you need to marry a woman in 6 months. That man a damn fool. You don't know that woman. You don't know that woman. You don't know that woman's heart. Damn what she telling you. What is she doing? Give a damn what she saying. What does her work say? And any man tell you to listen to what a woman say and not what she do, that nigga's a beta male sent man giant and a damn fool. You know what I'm talking about? And I'll be honest with you. It take about a good minimum 3 years to even begin to scratch the surface to actually know a woman. And I'll be honest with you. You ain't got to live with nobody to know them either. See, when you talk about know them, you want to talk about what it's like to live with them. I'm talking about to know them by experience. That means to see what's in their heart, how they behave, how they handle situations and circumstances, and how they conduct themselves in the morals and principles which they live by. I told you before, you want to know somebody's heart. You ain't gonna know somebody's heart till you see how they handle adversity. Most people can't handle adversity well. And in that instance, you'll see that they ain't loyal and dedicated to the people who they say they love, because they'll bail out so they can say they self and not come together to see how we can overcome it. They'll go to talking trash about you and look down on you and lose respect for you because they can't handle it. Don't the book? Well, I think that's in the apocrypha. Don't the book say prove a friend, and all that in the apocrypha? Don't it say that in there? That means you got to know somebody's heart. You got to be around them. And how did Yahuwah say he prove you? Through the furnace of affliction. He gonna test you. Yeah, you don't know nobody. You got dudes in the word be telling y'all boys are going to get, man, you don't know that woman. Why you think all these brews be complaining about they married to wicked women? You don't know the woman. You met her on Facebook, DM'd her a couple times, went and seen her and married her. You ain't never been around her a day in your life. You ain't never made her do nothing for you. That don't even make common sense. That don't even make common sense. It don't. It don't make no sense whatsoever. It's stupid. And that's not no knock on no woman. Hell, as a woman, why would you marry a dude and you don't know him? You don't know how he operate, what he do. You don't know how he handle adversity. You don't know how he handle his emotions. You don't know nothing. You know some Bible verses and he cute. You stupid too. You don't know that man. And you know why you doubly stupid? Because you ain't had no man in your life to go sit down and kick it with that man. You ain't even have a man in your life you respected enough that you wanted this man to meet him. That's dangerous in itself. Because you ain't supposed to be randomly going out dealing with no niggas anyway. And that's how a lot of these women who in the word end up getting their back broke, talking about these Hebrew niggas wicked. No, you was wicked because you was out here looking for loose meat just like he was looking for coochie. And you were doing it all in the name of the Lord. You done took this man's name in vain. That's what you were doing. Now you want somebody to feel sorry. Do you not notice that niggas be in the word doing all manner of wickedness and then want you to feel sorry for them because it didn't go out the way that they planned? Well, you had wicked intentions when you started. When I say wicked, meaning that you had disagreeable intentions because you were seeking to appease your lust. And that doesn't agree with the righteousness of Yahuwah. Come on, man. Zechariah 2:1.
I lifted up my eyes again and looked, and behold, a man with a measuring line in his hand. Then said I, where go you? And he said unto me, to measure Jerusalem.
To do what?
To measure Jerusalem. To see
what is the what?
To see the breadth thereof.
And the what?
The length thereof.
And behold.
The Malachim that talked with me went forth, and another Malachim went out to me.
And he said what?
Run, speak to this young man, saying.
That's what he said to him.
Jerusalem shall be inhabited.
As what?
Towns without walls.
With a what?
For the multitude of men and cattle therein.
Pause. What go with that verse 4? What go with Zechariah 2:4? Shalom, Sister Kelly. What go with this Zechariah 2:4? Because he's measuring Jerusalem at this point. And he said Jerusalem will be as a town inhabited without walls for a multitude of men and cattle. What verse go along with that? That's in Ezekiel. What he told you in Ezekiel 38, go and get it for him, man. Ezekiel 38 and 4. See, this is my point when I be telling y'all that these people be teaching us wrong. Because they told you Ezekiel 37, the valley of the dry bones, was us waking up when that's the resurrection of the dead. The resurrection of the dead that happened at Mashiach's coming. The resurrection of the dead that leads to having one king over us and we won't be divided in two nations anymore, but it'll be one body and one mallet because it's one faith and one immersion. So then when Ezekiel 38 come in, then you understand that you dwelling in that one day kingdom of a Mashiach, and then it begins to talk about what his name is, Gog and Magog, being deceived by the devil to come up and fight you because you're going to be dwelling in villages without walls. So now you got two prophets, and guess what? Guess what Zechariah was prophesying at? Guess where he was at when he was prophesying? Y'all know where he was at when he was prophesying? You know where he was at? You know where he was at? Who know where Zechariah was at? No, he wasn't in the room. He was in Babylon. He was in Babylon. Remember, Zechariah was prophesying around the same time as Jeremiah and Isaiah and else. Because see, how do you know that? Just back it up a little bit in verse 1, and you'll see in the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of Yahuwah unto Zechariah, the son of Bechariah, the son of Edu, the prophet, saying, he was in Babylon. He was in Babylon. And guess who else was in Babylon who told you that you'd be dwelling in villages without wall? Ezekiel. So he was telling you about something that was coming later. Go ahead, son. Ezekiel 38:4.
And I will turn you back and put hooks into your jaws, and I will bring you forth, and all your army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts, a great company, bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet.
Shield and helmet.
Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all the bands.
Togarmah.
Many people with you.
A lot of people there.
Be you prepared and prepare for yourself. You and all your company that are assembled unto you, and be you a guard unto them. After many days you shall be visited.
After many what?
Days.
You shall be what?
Visited.
Come on.
In the latter years you shall come into the land.
In the what?
Into the land. Brought back from the sword.
In the winter time, the latter years, you'll be brought into the land and you'll be brought back from the what?
Sword.
Ain't that what Pharaoh tried to do to kill you with the sword? Now you're getting delivered from the sword again, this time from the sword of the beast. Or the sword of Esau, if you would. Go ahead.
Gathered out of many people.
Gathered out of many what?
People.
Now how this talking about? Come on, man. You gathered out of what?
Many people.
Didn't he say under him shall the gathering of the people be? Didn't he say that his Alahym would come on that seventh trumpet and gather people one by one? Get a Matthew 24:30, man. I think we just talking. Dang, boy, they put you in your stroller, cuz. And you strapped in. That means you were going hard. Matthew 24:30.
And then shall appear the son of man in Shamahim. Then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
All the tribes of the earth will do what?
Mourn.
Then we just read in Ezekiel, Exodus 15, all the people gonna mourn. Then you see in Isaiah 48, all the people gonna mourn. Doggone right, they gonna weep. They ought to weep. They finna die. Go ahead.
And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of Shamahim with power and great esteem.
That's right.
He shall send his Malachim with a great sound of a trumpet.
That's right.
And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of Shamahim to the other.
Now that's what it said, right? So you know that them being gathered out from the sword, that's the Lord done came back. You dwelling in the kingdom of Hamashiach, not the kingdom of heaven. Y'all remember that, right? It's a difference. The kingdom of Hamashiach and the kingdom of heaven are not the same dominion. It's two different dominions. But continue. We ain't going back over that tonight. Maybe another day. Shoot, it ain't that long since we did it.
Now learn the parable of the fig tree.
No, that's good. You go back to Ezekiel 38. I think eat crazy. That boy say lose meat. A lot of them boys be slinging lose meat. Well, you got some brews who been in the word. These boys done had more wives than some people done had sex partners. At this point, I ain't gonna lie to you, boy. If you've been in the word 10, 15, 20 years, and you've been married multiple times, I know you stupid. I know you stupid. I ain't talking about if you was in the world and you had that going on. That's different. You know what I'm saying? You in the word, that means either you evil as hell or you stupid and you keep picking evil women. Because I don't see how no righteous man keep picking sinners. Don't you be seeing them brews be talking about runaway wives? Ain't that what they like to say? Well, if you steady got a runaway wife, that means there's something wrong with you. And you know why there's something wrong with you? Because you ain't got the wisdom to take the time to prove this woman out before you put her in that position. That's why it's your fault. Not based off what she did or what she didn't do. We ain't even worried about her. Why do you keep picking women who evil, who running away? That means it's a deficiency in you because you are seeking after something that ain't righteous, and that's why you picking these women, or you just worried about getting you some little roast beef, you know what I'm saying, a little tickle for your pickle, and then you just picking anybody, and you not proving these women out. You showing what's in your heart, because what you showing in your heart is all you want is vagina. You don't really want a quality woman, because I can't see no godly man just steady picking low quality women. I can't see that. Nah, these Hebrew women wicked. Well, why you keep picking them? Because at the end of the day, right, if you took the time to prove a woman out, right, then you would know what you would want, right, before you got you one, right? So if you took the time to prove her out, then you would realize that she ain't that. So instead of trying to make her be into what she ain't, you would just go without. So you stupid as hell. You horny as hell, and you're a pure jackass because you just want the coochie, trying to convince yourself that you can make this woman be something. I done heard a couple niggas like, man, we done got these women taking care of niggas' kids who ain't all. Well, if you ain't want to take care of this nigga kid, why you keep wiping women with churn? These niggas be crying about wifing women with churn, talking about this woman should be happy somebody wanted to be with her. That's how I know you wanted coochie. And you felt like you had to get the woman who felt like she couldn't get no better option. So she would just go along with whatever you got going on because ain't nobody gonna want her. See, you a beta male set mangina in a center. That's what I know. You know what I'm talking about? You was a clown and a goofy and a trick and a simp. Because why would you do that? Now, see, y'all don't know this, but we know this because we hear these niggas cry about this and say these things out their mouth. Yeah, man, they should be happy, man. She got all these kids from other men, and we coming in. Oh, you didn't marry that woman because she thought she was a righteous woman. You thought that was easy coochie, and you wanted to play the marriage game to make yourself feel better about laying with this woman. But she was a bald-headed scallywag for you met her. And just because she put a head wrap on and some fringes at the bottom of her dress does not mean that she's not a bald-headed scallywag. You know what I'm talking about? And you supposed to have been a righteous man with the discernment to see, not because she got children, but that she's a bald-headed scallywag. See, having children don't make her a bald-headed scallywag. Just because she got children don't mean she no horrible woman. No, that's not what we talking about. And if you think that, then you's a sucker and a simp. Nah, you knew that was a hoe when you met her. She could have had no kids. That still was a hoe. How many times you done heard them brute talking about these women rebellious and wicked and this, that, and the third? But they wife them, though. Let me ask you a question. You don't think you'll be able to figure out if a woman was rebellious before you married her? So you know what that means? You didn't prove that woman out, and you wasn't with her long enough, or you were so desirous to get in some vagina that you disregarded that so you could play the victim later. And that's feminine. When you enter into a situation that you know it's not going to go well, so you can turn around and play the victim when it blow up, you was a whole nigga. Because that's what women do. Men do not purposely involve themselves in negative situations so they can play the victim later to get sympathy for their bad decision making because you knew it was a bad decision before you made it. Come on, man. Man, we ain't going for that, man. And y'all need to stop letting them niggas get away with that stuff too, man. You need to start telling me, man, you just simp, man. I don't want to hear that junk, nigga. Because unless you was with that woman before you got in the word, if you married a wicked woman and you had been in the word for 5+ years, you was a simp and a sucker. You know what I'm talking about? You was a simp and a sucker. And if ain't nobody told you, let me be the first, man. Stop being led with your wee-wee, man. Think with the ruach, man. What about your inner man? All you want to think about is with your mushroom tip. That's all you want to think with. It ain't right. It ain't right. You know it ain't right. It ain't right. That's all they want to think with, man. That's all they want to do. Think with their wee-wee. Well, don't you know your penis will get you in trouble every time? I guarantee you, if you get 1,000 men in the room and 1,000 of them thought with their penis, I guarantee you every one of them raised their hand and said it never worked out well for me when I did it. That's how niggas get AIDS. That's how some niggas got herpes. That's how some niggas got the. You know what I'm talking about? That's how you got a child from a wicked woman. They got the clap, boy. You know what I'm talking about? Let me tell you something, man. And I lived by this before I was in the word. And if y'all got some young men in the word and you know them boys kind of reckless with their behavior or leaning towards recklessness in their behavior, if you wouldn't make her a wife, don't put a baby in her. Because I don't feel sorry for no stupid nigga who put a baby in a woman who you wouldn't make a wife. If she ain't worthy to be your wife, why the hell would she be worthy to be the mother of your children? You the dummy, you the fool. We don't feel sorry for you. You're stupid. And your daddy ought to come and kick you square in your butthole. Because you a waste of semen. Straight up and down, man. If you wouldn't make her a wife, why are you putting a baby in her? That don't make no damn sense. The wife is the greatest position that you could put a woman in your life. And being a mother of your children is right behind that because they should be synonymous. Because she's your wife, therefore you make her the mother of your children. You should not make a woman the mother of your children if you knew you wouldn't make her a wife. Because you know what that means? If she ain't a wife, that means 9 times out of 10, she ain't a mother either. You understand that? If you do not see wife attributes in this woman, why would you make her a mother? That's no different than as a woman. If you know you think it's not a husband, why would you let this nigga put a baby in you? That don't make sense. That don't make no sense. And this is the stuff you need to tell these young people, man. You need to let them know. If you look at that woman, as a woman, if you look at that man, I don't give a damn how he make you feel. I don't care how much you like him. If you know damn well that you would not be his wife, why in the hell would you be the mother of his child? You know what I'm saying? But you know why it's like that? Because you don't actually understand that giving a man a child is the greatest honor that you could do for him and the imprint that will be with you for the rest of your days because you had his child. You know what I'm talking about? It's the reality of life. I don't understand how people in the word not telling nobody this here, man, and trying to cause this to rap into these young men and women brains. And then they won't be in the word slinging meat and tossing coochie. Come on, son.
Start verse 8 back.
Ezekiel 38:8.
After many days you shall be visited. In the latter years you shall come into the land brought back from the sword.
That's right.
Gathered out of many people.
Now you notice how he say the land brought back from the sword because it's brought back from Esau because he was living by the sword because everybody who wouldn't worship him, he was killing them with the sword, was he not? Come on with it.
Against the mountains of Yasharah, which have been always waste.
Paul, because don't Ezekiel 27 say Esau lived by the sword? And that what it say? Get it for me, son. Get it for me. I'm gonna run it all down. I got time. We're gonna buck these people tonight, Johnny. We ain't leaving till 7:30 tomorrow. Some people gonna come in here Monday and be like, why the hell are y'all in here? Yes. They gonna call the police. We ought to hang out at Kimberly Daniels' office and be like, why you suck as a representative? Not for real. I don't know nothing about what she does. What I said?
Ezekiel 27.
Ezekiel 27. It's Genesis 27 and 41. Muffin Man. Hey, Muffin Man.
And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with his father Baruched him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my...
Up to 37.
And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him your master, and all his brethren here have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto you, my son?
What am I do for you, boy?
And Esau said unto his father, have you but one blessing, my father?
You ain't got but one? I need one.
Baruch me also.
Bless me, please.
Oh, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
He cried, too.
And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him,
guess what? Isaac ain't give a damn about them tears.
Behold,
ain't that what the writer of Hebrews said? He sought repentance carefully with tears. You give a damn about them crocodile tears, you tan nigga. But look at man, it's going to be a lot of people when they see the Lord, they going to be crying. Please, God. That's like, nigga, I don't care nothing about them tears, nigga. Nigga, catch these hands, nigga. You understand me? Care nothing about them tears. Let me tell you something, boy. Now, I ain't saying this because most men don't know this here, right? I done seen women boo-hoo cry and be lying. I'm talking about boo-hoo cry and lying. I ain't even talking about no criminal tears. I'm talking about like this here, like face balled up, looking ugly, tears everywhere, and she lying. And I ain't talking about like I walked up on it and like, oh, she lying. I already knew she was lying, and she had kind of let it be known that I was gonna, you know, Angela Bassett it real quick, like, you know what I'm saying, to try to get my way, to manipulate this individual to get what I want. That's what I knew right then. Well, you can't go for no tears, boy. You know what I'm talking about? Now I knew right then, well, you can't go for no tears, boy. When I seen that, I said, damn, boy, she putting on a show and lying. And if I didn't know she was lying, I would have thought she was genuinely upset. Ain't nothing wrong with this nigga. I seen this as a teenager. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm like, damn, this is ill. Like, she like this here. Some of y'all done probably cut on some tears with your daddy when you were little. You may not did it when you were grown. Hell, you probably did do it when you were grown. Knowing wasn't nothing wrong with you. Hell, you done seen them children go, what you crying for? Soon as they get what they want and they see they ain't gonna get it, it stops. But if you upset, boy, you can't cut off no tears and no upset like that. You didn't cut it off? Like you cut off the car? No, nigga, you was fake. You was fake. You done did that before. As an adult. Mm-hmm. The jury's still out. He ain't said nothing. Well, he might have believed that you was capping. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Y'all lie to yourself so much that you could have been flogging, but you convinced yourself that you was really upset. What I mean that because your emotions deceive you. So you believe your emotions make you believe that you was really upset, but you was really just emotional in that moment. Then, because you know how we know this? You know, because when your emotions go down, you realize I really wasn't nothing wrong with me. I really just overblew that and put on a show. Now you look like a fool. But y'all ain't gonna tell nobody that you look like a fool because you don't want nobody to notice here. But niggas just give you a pass because they know it just come with being a woman.
How you not gonna tell nobody you look like a fool?
Because I don't want you to. But I ain't finna tell you. So what you saw, I'm gonna deny. And I say that because that's why when a man do it, he don't get no respect. You know what I'm talking about? Because I say that because emotions will deceive you into believing that something is that it ain't, and that you feel what you don't. Because when that emotion subside and your faculties return, you realize that I really wasn't that upset. I was just in my feelings. That's what I mean by that. When you be like, oh, I was just in my feelings. That means your emotions deceived you into believing that you was angry, upset, or sad when you really wasn't. An emotion welled up, it lied to you, caused you to go off the rails. When you got back on the track, you would realize, you know what? I might have been tripping a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, I needed a VA. And that's why when men do it, nobody doesn't respect them. And that's what he mean when Paul say, my flesh, it will deceive you. That's why he say the heart is desperately wicked and deceitful above all things, because it will lie to you. Your emotions will lie to you. You know what I'm saying? And make you believe that something is that it's not. And that's why you have to have the Ruach in you and live by the Ruach so that you can have control over it. Because just because it's not to say that you won't have that feeling, the feeling gonna come, but you would already know, oh, that's my flesh, and my flesh is lying to me. Because what happens when your flesh lie to you, it could move you to commit a deed that you might not be able to come back from. I ain't talking about the fourth is like going to hell, but putting yourself in a situation, a circumstance that you might not be able to get yourself out of. You know what I'm saying? Or lead you down the pathway of committing deeds that could lead you to hell because you've allowed your flesh to deceive you, to make you think. That's why you can never be led by your emotions. And that's why women need strong male leadership. You know what I'm talking about? To let them know, like, no. See, a lot of times you be like, oh, y'all don't care about our feelings. I need my emotions to be protected. See, when you hear these women on the internet talking about protect somebody emotionally, what you talking about is you want me to go along with every whim, rhyme, and reason that pop up in your mind. And to make you feel secure about what you're feeling, even if what you're feeling is going to be detrimental to you. See, a lot of times a man may not be trying to destroy what you're feeling. He's trying to get you to understand that what you're feeling is going to be detrimental to your own well-being. The same way we just read in Isaiah 48 that I teach you things that profit and I lead you in the way that you should go. Because I already know that your flesh is going to deceive you and it's going to be a detriment to you. I need you to understand that this is not the way that you're going to go. This is what's going to happen. See, when you're in an emotional state, you ain't going to see it that way. You know what I'm talking about? See, when you're in a carnal state, which is the same as being emotional, if you're talking about a man, because a man who is carnal is the same in you who is eyesight as a woman who is emotional. You're impulsive and you're going to move according to how you feel. You know what I'm talking about? So if you're a carnal man and he told you to have a carnal mind, it's what? It's death. And why is it death? Because you're going to live by pleasure. And when you live by pleasure, you're not going to live by Yahuwah. And when you don't live by Yahuwah, then you're going to perish. So he has to lead you in the way that you're going to go because your heart and your emotions will lie to you. You know what I'm talking about? This doesn't mean to see people hear this and think that means that people are horrible or women are absolutely not. It's just the nature of the flesh. So when you understand that, you bring all thoughts into the captivity to the obedience of Mashiach, and you don't allow your emotions and your flesh to dictate what you're going to do. I don't care what the outside world doing. I don't care what you say. I don't care what my own flesh say. I'm going to go with what Yahuwah say. I will not allow this to dictate what I'm going to do. And it takes mastery to do that. And it takes a willful and ready heart to say that I will take the word to be able to master my flesh and my mind and my feelings to not allow them to dictate how I behave. You know what I'm saying? That's how that works. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Now, see, the word in that instance is, this is what, and this is why I say you got to always let the word up in your heart. In instances where you're feeling like that, your natural inclination is, I just want to open up the Bible. I'm going to read it. But see, that's not what you do. See, that word supposed to be in your heart so it come to your mind and then you fall back and rely on it versus just trying to open up the book and find a verse that's going to make you feel better. Because, see, that's just a temporary solution because you ain't going to know where to look. That's why I say don't call me and ask me for no Bible verse. Just call me and say, hey, bitch, this is what I got going on. We have a conversation about it. Because what is that Bible verse going to do? What you rolling your eyes for? Nigga, I'll kick you in your knee. For the reason now, I'm not knocking nobody who, I'm feeling a certain way. I open up the Bible and read it because you know why? That's what you've all been taught to do. Is that not what majority of people in this country have been taught to do? If you feel in this type of way, just go read your Bible. Now, we're not talking about people who not in the word. You in the word. So that means you're supposed to ate the roll. The word's supposed to be in your heart. So the word, when the word is in your heart, if Yahuwah see fit by his mercy, it should come to mind to be able to quell and comfort your spirit. You understand what I'm saying? And then, of course, prayer on top of that. Because the book tells you if you're afflicted, he tell you to go pray. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I mean, if you want to open, I'm not saying don't go read the word if you're feeling some type of way. But the reason why I say that is 99.9% of the time, when you're feeling some type of way and you open up the book, you be like, I don't know where to start at. You just hoping you open something up and it's going to fit your situation to make you feel better. That's what you hope. You just rolling the dice, hoping it just, I hope the spirit just lead me to what I need. It's got to be in your heart anyway to give you comfort. Because if you were going through it at the grocery store, ain't no Bible for you to read. You're going to pull it out. I'm going to read it on my phone. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be in you. When it's in you, it'll come to mind. It'll comfort your soul. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be good. But you know why? Because your mind has stayed on him. And whose mind has stayed on you, they trust in you. For trusting Yahuwah is everlasting strength. When your mind has stayed on him and you retain his word and your knowledge, it'll come to mind. When your mind ain't stayed on him and you're not retaining his word in your heart, it's not going to come to mind. You know what I'm saying? And now you're going to be scrambling. And that means he's not with you, not in him, and he not in you. And that ain't no way to live. Come on, son.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of Shamahim from above. Mm-hmm. And by the sword shall you live.
By the what?
By the sword shall you live.
By the what?
By the sword, and shall serve your brother. And it shall come to pass when you have the dominion, you shall break his yoke from off your neck.
See, a lot of brothers look at it, will see the white man live by the sword. Some will say the Saudi Arabians live by the sword. But he's talking about living by the sword because he's going to live by violence. He's going to live by violence. What it is in Matthew 26, man? Give me the Matthew 26, man. Probably about verse, about 45? Let's see what the Lord told Peter when it came to that.
Then come he to his disciples and said unto them, sleep on now, take rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Mm-hmm. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that do betray me.
That's right.
And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude of swords and staves, from the chief priests and elders of the people. And he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, that same is he. Hold him fast.
Hold him fast.
And forthwith he came to Yahushua and said, hail, master, and kissed him. Mm-hmm. And Yahushua said unto him, friend, wherefore are you come?
Where you coming from?
Then came they and laid hands on Yahushua and took him. And behold, one of them, which were the Yahushua, stretched out hand and drew a sword and struck a servant of the high priest.
What the Lord told him?
Smote off his ear. Then said Yahushua unto him, put up again your sword.
Put up your what?
Your sword into his place.
What he say after that?
For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword.
All that take the sword shall what?
Perish with the sword.
Now go to Revelation 13 and 9, man. What's wrong with you, little bub?
And if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that lead into captivity.
He that what?
Lead into captivity.
Shall what?
Go into captivity.
And he that what?
Kill with the sword.
Shall be what?
Must be killed with the sword.
Now, Esau gonna live by a sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the beast gonna be killing with the sword. Now go to Revelation 19 and 15, or 19 and 15. Let's see what the Lord coming back to kill with.
And out of his mouth go a sharp sword, that with it should smite the nations. He shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he tread with the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty.
So he that
Alahym.
killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. And you know why? Because whosoever slayeth man, man must be slain, because in the image of Alahym made he him. That's why I say that. See, dudes that say that's the white man, because you stupid. Your law say if you kill a man, you got to be killed. So when you kill with the sword, you got to be killed with the sword. And the beast going to be killing with the sword. And Esau going to be living by the sword, because that's the only way he going to have dominion. Yahushua didn't live by the sword. He lived by the word. That's what gave him his dominion. He didn't have to live by the sword. He didn't have to rule over man with might. He had to rule over men with force. He ruled over men with righteousness. They don't want to hear that. Come on back to Ezekiel 38, man. Where you start that? Verse 8, verse 9.
Yeah, I think
Read Ezekiel 38 and 8 one more time.
After many days you shall be visited in the latter years. You shall come into the land, brought back from the sword, and gathered out of many people against the mountains of Yasharal, which have been always waste. But it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them.
That's right.
You shall ascend and come like a storm. You shall be like a cloud to cover the land, you and all your bands, and many people with you. Thus saith Yahuwah Alahym, it shall also come to pass, at the same time shall things come into your mind. You shall think an evil thought. You shall say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages.
You go up to the land of what?
Unwalled villages.
Of land of what?
Unwalled villages.
Now I'm going to read Zechariah 2 and 4. It said, unto him, run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited, town without walls, for the multitude of men, and cattle therein. Go ahead, read it again.
And you shall say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages.
Go ahead.
I will go to them that are at rest.
Those that are at what?
Rest.
At what?
At rest.
Come on.
That dwell safely.
That dwell what?
Safely.
What else gonna happen?
All of them dwelling without walls.
Dwelling without what?
Without walls, and having neither bars nor gates.
They ain't got no bars or no gates.
To take a spoil.
Paul, you know why they ain't got no bars or no gates? Because there wasn't no war. He done went to war and killed these people already. Didn't he tell them in Joel to beat they sword, to turn their plowshares into sword? He said, come on and fight. Well, now I done killed all of y'all. So what we fighting for? But of those who were left over, remember what Revelation 11 and 17 say, the nations were what? Angry. So remember, we read it yesterday in Isaiah 24, the beast, the devil get put what? In a pit. And he gets shut up for many days, right? Then he get out in Revelation to tell you, he come out and deceive the nations, right? Because what are we going to do? We going to tell him, yeah, man, you don't want to listen to that guy. Because what he got you under, man, now you're in subjection to those niggers. You got to listen to them. Let's go over there and fight them, man. We can take them out. And they all going to die. Read it to them. Let the Lord tell it to you. Yeah, Gog and Magog is at the conclusion of the one day of a Mashiach's rule. Yeah. See, everybody wants you to think Gog and Magog is when the Lord come back. No, Gog and Magog is after the Lord has come back. Read that other verse again. Because remember, hold on, because he started in verse 4, and what did it say? I'm going to put hooks in your jaws and bring you back. Because they had already gathered up to fight against the Almighty. So now he going to come gather them up to do it again. And then he going to do the same thing he did in Egypt. Because remember, we're going to read it. Yahushua don't lift up a finger. The Father in heaven killed these people. And you know why? Because the law say that a man got to cheer up his wife for a year after getting married to her. That's what the law say. He can't be commissioned to fight no war. You see how that man keep his word on every cut and corner? We'll read it in the law for those who ain't never heard it before. Come on with us, son.
You shall say, I will go to the land of unwalled villages, I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn your hand upon the desolate places, inhabited and upon the people, gathered out of the nations.
Gathered out of what?
Out of the nations.
What else?
Which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land.
Midst of the land.
Sheba, Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions thereof.
All of them there.
Shall say unto you, are you come to take a spoil?
You coming to steal?
Have you gathered your company to take a prey?
You got some armies?
To carry away silver and gold?
You trying to get some wealth?
Take away cattle and goods?
You trying to get some
take
animals?
A great spoil?
Come on.
Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto Gog.
Tell them what?
Thus saith Yahuwah Alahym, in that day when my people of Yasharah dwell safely.
When they dwell what?
Shall you not know?
He say, so you ain't gonna know they safe. So you ain't gonna know they been redeemed. Listen to him.
And you shall come from your place out of the north parts, you and many people with you, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. You shall come up against my people of Yasharah as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days. And
in the wind?
In the latter days.
So this going to be a time after this here. Now you remember we say the latter days, you got to remember, Ezekiel is in Babylon. So let's understand what hasn't occurred. Hamashiach ain't came yet. Which means the temple ain't been rebuilt yet for him. Which means Yasharah ain't been redeemed yet. So a lot of brothers, when they read Ezekiel, they don't really pay attention to this, right? Ezekiel go to talking about us getting into captivity, right? Some for captivity, some for pestilence, some from the sword. They were already in captivity when he got that. So when you see a Mashiach telling you that in Luke 24, that you're going to leave here till the time of the Gentile be fulfilled, Ezekiel already told you this. Why would Ezekiel be telling the people who in captivity that they're going into captivity again when they were already there? He was in Babylon. So that ain't happened yet. So then you get redeemed, and then Gog and Magog do this. So this is what he mean in the latter day. See, everybody think latter days just mean when the Lord come back. Bad teaching, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to rightly divide the word of truth. And a lot of dudes, they can't divide, and they ain't right. Come on.
And it shall be in the latter days, and I'll bring you against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I should be sanctified in you, O Gog, before their eyes.
Go ahead.
Thus saith Yahuwah Alahym, you he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants, the prophets of Yasharah, which prophesied in those days, years that I will bring you against them. And it shall come to pass at the same time when Gog shall come against the land of Yasharah, saith Yahuwah Alahym, my fury shall come up in my face.
What's going to happen when that fury comes?
For in my jealousy and the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Yasharah, so that the fishes of the sea and the fowls of Shamahim and the beasts of the field and all creepy things that creep upon the earth and all men that are upon the face of the earth shall shake in my presence. And the mountain shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains. Saith right. Yahuwah Alahym, every man's sword shall be against his brother.
Go ahead.
And I will plead against him with pestilence.
With what?
With pestilence.
And with what else?
With blood.
With what else?
And I will rain upon him and upon his bands and upon the many people that are with him, and overflowing rain with great hailstones, fire and brimstone.
So you see, he's going to make fire come down from Shamahim and kill him. Now I'm going to just read Revelation 20:7 just on general principle. Revelation 20:7. When the 1,000 years are expired, Hashatan should be loosed out of his prison. Now, we already read that in Isaiah 24 and 22 yesterday, did we not? And he shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to the battle, the number whom as the sand of the sea. And they went up the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city, and fire came down from Shamahim and devoured them. Is that not what Ezekiel tells you? Ezekiel just told you all of that. So then when we come over here to Deuteronomy 24, because it said Alahym from Shamahim would do it. Yahushua didn't have to lift up a finger. When you come over here to Deuteronomy 24 and 5, it says, when a man have taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war. Neither shall he be charged with any business. He shall be free at home 1 year and shall cheer up his wife, which he have taken. Now go ahead and tell him what charged with any business is. And this is something we done dealt with this before. I'm just sharing this for some of you who may not know.
Charged as a bar, to pass over by or go through, to bring, to carry, to do away, to take away.
To carry no work, because that's what business should be. Work.
Business is the bar.
No business, no occupations, no matters. Tell him we're free.
That's not key. It's clean, free from, exempt, clear, innocent.
So he is exempt from any war. He got to be at home with his wife. And what cheer her up is, man?
Samak, to rejoice, to be glad.
To rejoice and to be glad. Don't Jeremiah 33 say, she shall rejoice, the voice of the bride, the voice of the bridegroom, saying, hallelujah, of hosts, for Yahuwah is good, and his mercy endures forever. Don't you think you'll be rejoicing if you got brought back from the sword and gathered out of many nations? You don't understand that whole day you with Yahusha is for the rejoicing. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. He ain't going to teach nobody in the wilderness, but Isaiah 2 say that the nations will come up to the mountains and get the word of Yahuwah because they ain't had it. But Jeremiah say the nations going to come and say, surely our fathers have inherited lives. That's what it say. Get Isaiah 2 and 4.
And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares.
2 and 1, my bad.
The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Yehuda and Jerusalem, and it shall come to pass in the last days, the mountains of Yahuwah's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
That's right.
It shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it.
And what's going to happen when they flow in there?
Many people shall go and say, come you and let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah.
Let's go up to the government of Yahuwah.
To the house of Alahym and Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways.
He'll do what?
Teach us of his ways.
Because that's what them Gentiles get in that one day. Get in line. As a matter of fact, if it's any bruise who gets spared, who a sinner, you got one day to get in line.
And will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law. Yahuwah from Jerusalem.
You got one day to get it in line. That's it. That's all you got. One day. Come on back to Zechariah 2 and 4. Baby Joanne. I see you over there peeking and geeking. Zechariah 2 and 4.
And said unto him, run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited, towns without walls, for the multitude of men and cattle therein.
Notice that is, listen what he say, right? For I
saith Yahuwah
will be what?
Be unto her a wall.
He'll be the wall.
A fire round about, and will be the esteem in the midst of her.
Don't it say just Yahuwah in the midst? He said he gonna be the wall, because he your protection. That's talking about Hamashiach's kingdom. That's talking about deliverance. Listen to the next thing he say though.
Ho, ho, and flee from the land of the north.
He said, do what?
Flee from the land of the north.
Say it who?
Yahuwah.
For I've spread.
You are broad as the four winds of Shamahim.
Say it who?
Yahuwah.
He said, deliver yourself.
O Zion.
That dwell with who?
The daughter of Babylon.
He said, deliver yourself, oh who?
Zion.
That dwell with who?
The daughter of Babylon.
Now you just seen that from Zechariah. You've seen it from Jeremiah. You've seen it from Isaiah. They all told you to slide from Babylon. They all told you to do it. But when you left out of Babylon, you didn't. Why these boys telling you to move from the woods? What are they doing now? Come on, man.
But thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, after the esteem have he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you.
He said, after the what?
After the esteem. For he that touch you, touch the apple of his eye.
For behold,
I will shake my hand upon them.
and they shall be what?
A spoil to their servants.
And you shall know what?
That Yahuwah of hosts hath sent me.
Don't you know that you spoiled the Egyptians on your way out, and you're going to spoil these people on your way out? Go ahead.
Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion.
For what?
Lo, I come, and I will
dwell where?
In the midst of you, saith Yahuwah.
And many nations what?
Shall be joined to Yahuwah in that day.
So get what? That's what you just seen in Revelation 7. Of course, that's further on down the line. He said many nations going to be joined to Yahuwah in that day. Go ahead.
It shall be my people.
And they'll be what?
My people.
So anybody who joined to him of any nation under heaven, because we done talked about this before. Niggas can say, oh, they ain't from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but you jackass, they from Adam. So shut your mouth and stop being stupid. Go ahead.
And many nations shall be joined to Yahuwah in that day, and shall be my people, and I will dwell in the midst of you. You shall know that Yahuwah of hosts hath sent me unto you.
And Yahuwah
shall inherit Yehuda,
his what?
Portion in the Kadash land.
And shall what?
Choose Jerusalem again.
Be silent.
O all flesh before Yahuwah.
Why?
For he is raised up out of his Kadash habitation.
All the people going to shut their mouth when it's time for him to come. This man talking about bringing you back. And that you're going to have dominion and rule. Yes, sir. Same thing. I need your jewels. I need your gold. I need your silver. It's mentioned in Isaiah 60. I need all your resources. Because all your resources are Yahuwah's resources. So just like Ecclesiastes say, sinners gather up the heap to give it to the righteous. And that's all they doing. They accumulating all this wealth and all these resources to give to you. Give them Isaiah 60 and 1. Matter of fact, before you do that, give me Psalm 68 and 29, and then give me Isaiah 60 and 1. Psalm 68 and 29. Tell me what it says.
Because of your temple at Jerusalem.
Because of your what?
Temple at Jerusalem.
What they gonna do?
Shall kings bring presents unto you?
They gonna bring what?
Presents unto you.
What else?
Rebuke the company of spearmen, the multitude of the bulls, with the calves of the people.
That's good. He said, because of your temple, they bringing gifts. Isaiah 60 and 1.
Arise, shine, for your light is come, and the esteem of Yahuwah is risen upon you.
Mm-hmm.
For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yahuwah shall arise upon you, and his esteem shall be seen upon you. And the Gentiles shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising.
They all coming to a Mashiach.
Lift up your eyes round about, and see all they gather themselves together. They come to you, your sons shall come from afar,
And your daughters,
shall be nursed at your side,
you shall see,
and flow together,
their heart shall fear.
and be enlarged.
Because of the abundance
Of the sea
shall be converted.
unto you
The force of the Gentiles.
shall come unto you.
Tell them what force is.
Kayil, strength, might,
All the
efficiency.
strength and the power of the Gentile coming to you. Go ahead. The multitude of what?
Camels shall cover you.
The dromedaries of Midian and Ephah.
All they from Sheba shall come.
What they gonna bring?
They shall bring gold and incense.
They gonna bring what?
Gold and incense.
And they shall do what?
Show forth the praises of Yahuwah.
All the flocks of Kedar are gonna be what?
Gather together unto
And the
you.
rams of Nebo shall do what?
Minister unto you.
And they shall come up with acceptance on where?
My altar,
And I will esteem.
the house of my esteem.
Come on and drop down to verse 11.
Therefore your gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto you the forces of the Gentiles, and their kings brought. The nations and kingdoms that will not serve you shall perish. Yea, nations shall be utterly wasted.
Anybody who don't want to serve Hamashiach gonna die. Drop down to verse 16.
You shall also
Because see, listen, right? In serving Hamashiach, they're gonna be serving you. See, it says Israel, you a dummy. You ain't the king, dummy. You ain't got no power to make nobody do that, fool. Verse 16.
You shall also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shall suck the breast of kings. You shall know that I, Yahuwah, your Savior and your Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob,
Brass.
I will bring gold.
Remember, because he said he give you iron and brass in Deuteronomy. So he say, for the brass, I'm gonna bring you what?
Gold,
And for iron, I'm gonna bring you what?
silver,
And for wood,
brass, and for stones, iron.
and I will make your officers what?
Shalom,
And your exactors,
righteousness.
and violence shall what?
No more be heard in your land,
That's why them people ain't gonna be able to touch you. And wasting,
nor destruction within your borders.
your walls gonna be called what?
Salvation,
And your gates what?
praise.
That's why none of that ain't going down in there. That's a place of salvation. Ain't nothing gonna happen to you in there. If something happened to you in there, then you ain't been saved in. Come on back to Isaiah 7. We supposed to been in there, son. We ain't never get around there. It's all good. I just wanted you to see two places with two prophets who were telling you how you were gonna have to get up out of Babylon. You know what? We kind of read Isaiah 47 yesterday, right? If I'm not mistaken. And we got elements of a lot of things to touch. I got this one here. So we're going to go to Revelation 18 because we're going to get ready to wrap this one on up for the evening. And we'll just take this Revelation 18 with the correlation for Isaiah 47 and link that up. And now what we've set a stage up for us to do, which we've kind of already done, is that we got to, of course, take the time because we got to return back with some more elements in Revelation 17 about the whore of Babylon. As forth as it correlates with Jezebel and her rule and how she is symbolic of this whore and how that she was riding on the back of Ahab. You know what I'm talking about? In the same fashion, because Ahab is who gave her strength, was it not? Without Ahab, she didn't have the ability to do nothing that she was doing. And then, of course, as you see in the parallels, that the coming out of Babylon is the same as coming out of Egypt. You know what I'm talking about? Because we're talking about that seventh cup or that seventh vial. That last cup of wrath was poured out upon Babylon, and then it's finished. And then we can begin to start reading Jeremiah 50 and 51. Because they're long chapters. We've done it before. Clearly, it's Yahuwah's will that we do it again. You know what I'm talking about? And you got to take your time with that because they're long chapters. I can't tell you how many verses it is off the top of my head, but I can tell you right now. But Jeremiah 50 is 46 verses long. Jeremiah 51 is 64 verses long. You know what I'm saying? So if you're talking about in totality 105 passages, then you know what I'm saying, that's gonna take some time because we just not just gonna read them and being like, oh, we're gonna deal with them. You know what I'm saying? And by Yah's grace, we got a lot of days to do it. So Revelation 18:1. After these things, I saw another Malachim come down from Shamahim, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his esteem. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul ruach, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So we've already read multiple places where it said that Babylon is fallen. But what dwells there? Devils. So what does that mean? Because it said unclean or every foul spirit. Tell them what foul is in the Greek.
So artos, and that's not cleansed, unclean.
Unclean. So this is defiled. Or what you would see other, these are unclean ruach. If it's an unclean ruach, guess what's in these unclean ruach? Get me Mark chapter 7, verse 19. That's what's in these unclean ruachs. And if this is in these unclean ruachs, then this is what in the land. And if it's the habitation of devils, that means it's the habitation of whisperers. Because the devil mean a whisperer. These are slanderers. And what does the book say? Cast out the slanderer, and what's going to stop? The strife. And get what? That's why he got to cast them out. That's why he got to cast out the beast. That's why he got to cast out his people. And then the strife going to cease. As long as these people in the earth, the strife ain't never going to cease. Because there's enmity between the woman's seed and the serpent seed. It'll never cease. And Paul say, the children of the flesh have persecuted the children of the Ruach as it is this day. It'll never cease. Mark 7 and 17. Or 19, I'm sorry.
Because it entered not into his heart, but into the belly.
Okay, give me 17.
And when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable.
What he said?
And he said unto them, are you so without understanding also?
Uh-huh.
Do you not perceive that whatsoever thing from without enter into the man cannot defile him?
Can't defile it.
Because it enter not into his heart, but into the belly.
Into the belly.
And go out into the drought, purging all meat.
Purging all meat.
And he said, that which come out of the man, that defile the man.
That defile the man.
For from within, out of the heart of men proceed.
What come out the hearts of men?
Evil thoughts.
Evil what?
Evil thoughts.
Evil what?
Evil thoughts.
What else?
Adulteries.
Adulteries.
Fornications. Murders.
Murder.
Thefts. Covetousness. Wickedness.
Wickedness. Blasphemies.
Deceit.
Lies.
Lasciviousness.
Lust.
An evil eye.
Now you're around here hating people in your heart.
Foolishness.
And stupidity.
All these evil things come from within and defile them.
Did you see that he said foolishness? You know how many men are defiled because they foolish? You see that what he said, right? So if you a fool, you defile. And what we read in the epistle to Titus, he said to the defiled ain't nothing pure. So to a fool, the gospel of Marduk can never be pure. You a fool, you defile, boy. And that's what's in Babylon. All them things you heard right there, them foul spirits. See, it just ain't foul spirits just floating around. It's the foul spirits that's in men. Revelation 18:2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, the hold of every foul ruach, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth will wax rich through the abundance of her delicacy. Now, this will be one of the first times we'll turn around and look at the Tower of Babel and bring it over here. You know what I'm talking about? Because didn't all the nations gather together? All they gathered together to benefit from her. See, everybody came in Babel to build that tower to get a benefit. See, he scattered them out. This time he's going to kill them. He said, I heard another voice from Shamahim saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues. That's exactly what Isaiah 48:20 told you, right? Because there wasn't no rest for the wicked. For her sins have reached unto Shamahim, and Alahym have remembered her iniquities. We read that in Jeremiah 51. Reward her even as she have rewarded you. Double unto her, double according to her works, and the cup which she have filled to her double. how much she have esteemed herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she say in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. She shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong Yahuwah Alahym who judge her. And the kings of earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail and lament her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Then we did read yesterday and say they were going to stand out there crying for her. But we read that for who? With Nahum talking about Nineveh. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, that mighty city, for 1 hour is your judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buy their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold, silver, and precious stone, and the pearls and fine linen, purple silk, scarlet, tine, wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, all manner of vessels of most precious wood, of brass, marble, cinnamon and odors, ointments and frankincense, wine and oil, fine flour, wheat, beef, sheep, horses, chariots, slaves, and the souls of men. And the fruits that your soul lusted after are departed from you, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from you, and you shall find them no more at all. See, Babylon is representative of the destruction of all the things that men lust after, because you was only dealing with Babylon because she had your lust, because that's why you got pierced through with many sorrows, because you were chasing after riches instead of chasing after God, because that's the only reason why everybody was going after Babylon. They wanted the benefit. And they felt like the benefit, you know what I'm saying? What profit is us that we walk mournfully before Yahuwah of hosts? That's how people feel. What gain I'm getting? My life hard. I ain't got no money. Look at them sinners. That's why he told you in Psalms, don't be envious of sinners, nor desire nothing that they got. Verse 15, the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. Saying, alas, alas, that great city, clothed in fine linen, purple, scarlet, decked with gold, precious stones, and pearl. Get what? You know how she would deck the precious stone? It's almost as if she had the breastplate on. Funky slut. For an hour, so great riches has come to nothing. And what he told you in Proverbs 23. Labor not to be rich. Cease from your own wisdom, because your riches is going to come to nothing. And that give you an remember this a long time ago, we were talking about Babylon. Get Ecclesiastes 7:26. Long time ago, we used this passage as a reference to Babylon. Listen to it.
And I find more bitter than death the woman.
I find more bitter than death the who?
The woman.
The who?
The woman.
Go ahead.
Whose heart snares and nets.
Her heart is what?
Snares and nets.
And her hands?
Bands.
And guess what? Listen.
Whoso please Alahym shall escape from her.
But the sinner
shall be taken by her.
Did he tell you to flee from Babylon? Because that woman's heart is like snares and nets, and her hands are like bands. Because Babylon trying to catch you with the delicacies of her dainties. And if you please Alahym, you'll escape from that. But if not, you dying with her. Because you got to understand something. When Babylon get burnt up, you know it's people in there, right? Oh, you just thought it was a city with nobody in it? Why would he be telling them to flee? Is that not what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? Is that not what he did to Lot? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. He said, well, y'all better get on from around now, because I'm finna come see him. Because didn't he say the iniquity of Sodom and Gomorrah done reached under heaven? Let's go down there and see if it's according to the word that we get. Is that not what the word say? Get it for him, man. Genesis 19, man. What is it, 19 and 10? You done spilled something? No? You did it. Genesis 19 and 10. Tell me what it say.
But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut the door.
We got to back up then. Go to 1 then.
And there came 2 Malachim to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom.
We got to go back to chapter 18 then. 19 ain't got what I'm looking for. Let me help you out. 19 is the conclusion of what we talking about. Genesis 18 and 20.
And Yahuwah said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great.
The cry of what?
Sodom and Gomorrah is great.
What's going to happen?
And because their sin is very grievous.
The sin is grievous.
I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me. And if not, I will know.
So that their sins done came to remembrance. Let me go see if it's what it is. All right, that's good. I'm back to Revelation 18. Where I'm at. 18 and 17. For 1 hour, so great riches has come to nothing. Every shipmaster and all the company ships and sailors, as many as trade by sea, stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, the great city wherein we were made rich, all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. And why is this important, right? If by chance that the dollar is no longer the reserve dollar, America's economy would be destroyed, which means the nations of the earth wouldn't be getting rich with her, now would they? Which means she can't be Babylon if her entire economy is destroyed. And we already read 20, so we good with that. So hallelujah for Yahushua in the world. We're going to start right there. So y'all willing, we'll line up Isaiah 47 and Revelation 18 on tomorrow. You know what I'm talking about? We got a lot of dots to connect. Once we get through with Isaiah 47, we'll just go straight into Jeremiah 50 and 51. We probably don't even got to go back and forth with Revelation 18, just because Jeremiah 50 and 51 is going to do a lot of that for us. You know what I'm talking about? So y'all willing, we probably just go straight to Jeremiah 50 and Isaiah 47 simultaneously and just let the chips fall where they may. But I appreciate y'all, but I do need to do this as we get ready to partake in the Passover. And if some of y'all going to be partaking at it at the house. That's right, Nate. Nate say that's all it's going to take, 1 hour. Understand, right? All that time they took. What that nigga Big Boy said on the song, the nigga say, it took your mama 9 months to make it, but it only took that nigga 9 minutes to take it. It took your mama 9 months to carry you in her womb and push you out, and it could take a nigga half a second to take your life. You know what I'm saying? Babylon went for a long time building a whole lot of wealth, and it only took an hour for it to all go away. That just show you the power of Yahuwah. To show you how you can spend all your, that's why Solomon said it's all vanity and vexation of the Ruach, because you can spend all that time doing all this stuff and it could be gone in the instant. That's why it's better to be dwelling with Yahuwah than to be caring about anything else. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Everything in this life is temporal. It's temporary. But the word of Alahym is eternal. You know what I'm talking about? So we can't get caught up in that. Because see, that's why the danger. That's why Yahushua said that about being sowing your seed amongst the thorns, when you get caught up with the cares and affairs of this life and the deceitfulness of riches, and it choke off the word that it can't bring forth no fruit. Now you notice when Paul told you not to chase after riches, because you get pierced through with many sorrows, but follow after that. And notice that he said the deceitfulness of riches. So he's telling you that money will deceive you and cause the word to not be able to produce what it's supposed to produce, because you worry about everything else. Not only did he say the deceitfulness of riches, he said the cares and the affairs of this life. That means that you have made those things gods in your heart. You got an idol in there. And when you got that idol in there, then guess what? The word can't take root, which means the peace, the joy, the long suffering, the gentleness, the meekness, the joy, the self-control, all of that, it can't develop. Because he said it's going to choke off the word. Because every time the word going to get ready to bear some fruit, that's going to come through and choke it. Now, I ain't never planted no garden, but for those of y'all that know, y'all know the elements that'll come through and choke off a seed where it don't bring forth the fruit in the garden. Now you got to plant new seeds. You know what I'm talking about? So you have to be cognizant of that. We know that everybody fall in them 4 categories. The seed by the wayside, the seed in the stony places, the seed amongst the thorns, and the seed in good ground. You know what I'm talking about? And the vast majority of the population, they in that second and third seed. It's a good amount is the seed by the wayside. They don't understand the word, and when they hear it, it just go to the other side. But most people, they ain't got no root in them. So when that persecution and tribulation come, they don't want nothing to do with it. And everybody else, the cares, affairs of this life and the deceitfulness of riches don't allow the word to give the benefit that they're supposed to get. And that's why you see a lot of people talking about why the word ain't doing for me what it's supposed to be doing, because you caught up with everything else except that. But see, don't nobody want to admit that, because that would take a level of introspection that most people just don't want to do. And I don't have that passage in this book. Let me get this 1 Corinthians chapter 11 before we proceed. Now, I already got one. Is anybody else besides, well, two, anybody else going to need a second Passover? Because as of now, I got two. That's all I need. That means May 2nd, service will be held. Hey, who burping like that? That's a strong burp for such a small child. That milk must have been hitting for her. I want y'all, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to read to you 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 17. Matter of fact, before I do that, give me John 6 and 39, man. You can make it 33. John 6 and 33. Let me do that. I'm going to do it different this time. John 6 and 33.
For the bread of Alahym is he which come down from Shamahim and give life unto the world.
Give life unto the who?
The world.
Come on with it.
Then said they unto him, Master, evermore give us this bread.
Give us this bread, Lord.
And Yahushua said unto them, I am the bread of life.
I'm the bread of life.
He that come to me shall never hunger.
He that come to me shall never what?
Hunger.
And what else?
He that believe on me shall never thirst.
Shall never thirst.
But I said unto you,
what he said?
That you also have seen me and believe not.
You see me, you still don't believe.
All that the Abba give me shall come to me, and him that come to me I will in no wise cast out.
Come on.
For I come down from Shamahim,
not to do my own will,
but the will of him that sent me.
Come on.
And this is the Abba's will which hath sent me.
What he did?
That of all which he hath given me, I shall lose nothing.
I should lose none of.
But I shall raise it up again at the last day.
Amen.
And this is the will of him that sent me.
What's that?
That everyone which see the Son and believe on him
so
may have everlasting life.
Go ahead.
And I'll raise him up at the last day.
Come on.
The Yahudim then murmured at him, because he said, I am the bread which came down from Shamahim.
What he told him after that?
They said, is not this Yahushua, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know?
I know his daddy.
How is it then that he said, I come down from Shamahim?
You ain't come from heaven. I know your mom.
Yahushua therefore entered and said unto them,
what he said?
Murmur not among yourselves.
Don't talk amongst yourselves.
No man can come to me except the Abba which hath sent me draw him, and I'll raise him up at the last day.
Go ahead.
It is written in the prophets
that they shall all be taught of Alahym.
Every man therefore that have heard
and taught
of the Abba
shall come
unto me.
That's right.
Not that any man have seen the Abba.
He said, not that any man what?
Seen the Abba.
Didn't Moses see him? So that means he didn't see the Father then, because Moses seen Alahym. Ain't what he said? He seen Yahuwah, did he not? That means he didn't see the Father. That means Yahuwah ain't the Father then. Because if not, that means the Lord did lie. Go ahead.
Save he which is of Alahym. He have seen the Abba.
He seen it.
Truly, truly, I say unto you.
He said he that's an Alahym. Moses wasn't an Alahym. Moses was of his mom and his dad. Go ahead.
Truly, truly, I say unto you, he that believe on me have everlasting life.
That's right.
I am that bread of life.
I am that bread of life.
Your fathers did eat man in the wilderness
and are dead.
This is the bread which come down from Shamahim.
That if any
a man may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which came down from Shamahim.
I'm the living bread which come down from on high.
If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever.
And what bread is that?
And the bread that I will give is my flesh.
My life.
Which I will give for the life of the world.
I give my flesh that you might live.
The Yahudim therefore strove among themselves, saying,
how can this man give us his flesh to eat?
Then Yahushua said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you,
he that eat my flesh,
or the Son of Man, and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoso eat my flesh and drink my blood have eternal life.
That's right.
And I'll raise him up at the last day.
I'll do what?
Raise him up at the last day.
I'll do what?
Raise him up at the last day.
Come on.
For my flesh is meat indeed.
And my blood
is drink indeed.
Now that's good. Now we getting ready to do that very thing. See, I just said we want to do it different. You understand that when you drinking that wine and you eating that bread, you saying that you got life in you. Because you taking his word in you and you taking hold of his covenant. That's why he say don't do it unworthily. Meaning, don't be like the niggas who say you got this man word in your mouth, but you casting his covenant behind your back. Get it for him. Psalm 50 and 14. I want to make sure that it's clear what you understand what he means when he talking about unworthily. Because he said if you drink his blood, he said this is the blood of my covenant, right? Remission of sins. You saying you taking that in, I'm a part of the covenant. When you eat his flesh, you say I'm taking in the word. Because what does the word bring? Life. Come on with it.
Offer unto Alahym thanksgiving and pay your vows unto the Most High. And call upon me in the day of trouble.
Call upon me when?
In the day of trouble.
See, that go back to what we were talking about earlier. If you're vexed, if you afflicted, he say call on me in the time of your affliction.
I will deliver you.
I will save you.
And you shall esteem me.
And you will give me the praise.
But unto the wicked, Alahym said.
See, notice that, right? That's what these niggas don't want to do. See, that's what your forefather did to eat it. They were scared. But then they went to selling out. Moses had to slow them down. He said, if you cry unto me in the day in your affliction, boy, I will save you, boy. Come on.
But unto the wicked, Alahym said,
what are you?
What have you to do to declare my
He
statutes?
said, what business you got to clear my ordinances?
You should take my covenant in your mouth.
Why are you speaking on my covenant? See, you take his covenant in your mouth, you taking Yahushua in your mouth. Why are you talking about me?
Seeing you hate instruction.
You hate correction.
And cast my words behind
and
you.
you throw my word behind your back.
When you saw a thief.
You consented with it.
And have been a partaker with adulterers.
And you like to lay down with niggas who cheat on their wife.
You give your mouth to evil.
And you run your mouth telling lies.
And your tongue frame deceit.
And you're always telling lies.
You sit and speak against your brother. You slander your own mother's son.
Your own mother's son.
These have you done, and I kept silence.
See, this is what you mean. He said, I kept silence. They would have did to take it unworthily. Go ahead, listen to him.
You thought that I was all together.
You thought I was like you, ho nigga.
But I will reprove you.
Now I'm going to correct you to your face.
And set in order before your eyes.
And then I'm going to straighten you. Come on. That's good. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 17. Now, in this that I declare, I praise not that you come together not for the better, but for the worse. First of all, when you come together in the assembly, I hear that there be divisions among you, and I partly believe it. For there must be also heresies among you, that they which are approved may be made manifest among you. See, that's the same thing that happened with Judas, right? There was a heresy amongst them. He had to be there so that it could be approved that he was a wicked bastard. When you come together, therefore, in one place, not to eat the Lord's Supper, for in eating everyone take before his own supper, one is hungry and another is drunken. What, have you not houses to eat and to drink in? Or do you despise you the house of Alahym, and shame them that have not? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I praise not. For I have received of the Lord that which I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua the night in which he was betrayed took bread, and when he had given thanks, he brake and said, take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me. After the same manner also the cup, when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do you as oft as you drink in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. So that means you show forth his covenant, right? Because the covenant is of no effect as long as the testator what? So when you drink the cup and you eat the bread, you showing forth his death, or you showing forth that covenant. So when he's telling you, don't take this man's body unworthily, don't be taking hold of this man's covenant knowing you hate the instruction and you cast his words behind your back. You understand? For it's verse 27, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and the blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, so let him eat of bread and drink of cup. Now I want to do one more thing before we slide up out of here. Come on, Civic. 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1.
This, the third, I am coming to you in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses.
We'll make it 5.
Examine yourselves.
Examine what?
Examine yourselves.
Why is that?
Whether you be in the faith.
Whether you be in the what?
In the faith.
Why?
Prove your own selves.
Prove your own self.
Know you not your own selves, how that Yahushua Mashiach is in you.
So you don't know if the word in you or not?
Except you be reprobate.
The only way you would know the word ain't in you is if he done rejected you.
But I trust that you shall know that we are not reprobates.
We ain't reprobates.
Now I pray to Alahym that you do no evil. Not that we should.
Then we just talk about what it is to be a reprobate. You're reprobate because you don't like to retain him in your knowledge. Give me Psalms 4 one more time, man. We'll start with that.
Start from the top.
Psalms 4 and 1. It ain't that long.
Hear me when I call, O Alahym, of my righteousness. You have enlarged me in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O you sons of men, how long my esteem into shame? When you love vanity, seek after leasing, say lie. But know that Yahuwah has set apart him that is godly
He
for
set
himself.
apart him that is faithful for himself.
Yahuwah will hear when I call unto him.
That's right.
Stand in awe and sin not.
Stand in awe and do what?
Sin not.
And commune where?
With your own heart upon your bed.
Upon your bed and what?
Be still.
And do what?
Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in Yahuwah.
Got to commune with your own heart.
Many that say.
That's good. I can't commune with your heart. Only you can do that. Unless you be a reprobate. You know if you're a reprobate or not. I ain't got to tell you you're a reprobate. Before anybody else know you reprobate, you know. And what is reprobate? That means you've been rejected. Well, what would make you get rejected? Because you rejected the word. So when he tell you don't eat that bread and drink from that cup, if you know that you hate correction and you cast this man words behind your back and you slit with slanderers and you consent with thieves and adulterers, he said, don't do it. Don't do it. So hallelujah for Yahushua in the word, man. I appreciate y'all time. I bless y'all the house of Alahym in the name of Yahushua. Yahuwah willing, man, we'll be back tomorrow 7:30 to do it again. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7:30. 7:30. I don't know where we're gonna be at tomorrow. Where we gonna be at tomorrow? Oh, we're gonna be at Michael's spot tomorrow. So we're gonna have to get that address for him. Where that's at. Where we gonna be at Tuesday? I'm asking, I don't know. Okay, we're Stanley House Tuesday. We at my house Wednesday. Who got Thursday? Oh, you got Thursday? You got it, Joseph? I know I got Friday. Now who has Saturday? You got Saturday? Sunday, we back here. Nah, we'll deal with Saturday afternoon when it comes. Peace, man. So we're gonna go ahead and take this cup, man, and eat the bread. So let's go ahead and get ourselves prepared for that in an orderly fashion. So I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Bless y'all the house of Alahym. Name of Yahushua, man. Yahuwah willing, man. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back at it. Wow.